is swung on and hit in the air to right field deep. And you can't forget about this one. Blaze Salter hits number 5, and the Newport Gulls retake the lead.
This is the Newport Gulls pregame show, live from Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island.
Gone! A grand slam! To left power, right tower power, and the Gulls walk off in the 15th inning!
Coming up, interviews, stats, standings, lineups, and a whole lot more.
Tomas steps on the bag for one out, throws to first. It is in time, a double play.
Pitch, breaking ball lifted deep to center field, and it is gone! A 2-run shot for Cody Hosey.
Taking a high drive, left field deep. Bolzano going back, looking up. This ball is a 2-run homer. P.J. Jones hits it out.
Stay tuned. The pregame show begins now on the NECBL Broadcast Network. In his first season covering Newport Gulls baseball, here's play-by-play broadcaster Stephen Huff.
Newport's looking to pick up their third straight victory here on Volunteers Appreciation Night. How you doing, everybody? Stephen Huff getting you set for tonight's matchup between the Danbury Westerners and Newport Gulls here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Last time out for the Newport Gulls was today as they took on the New Bedford Bay Sox. Sam Jacobsack was on the mound for his first ever start. He led the way for the Gulls, pitching 6 innings and striking out 4 en route for the Gulls' 3-1 victory over New Bedford. Newport will take on the Danbury Westerners today, who come into this one currently in 4th place in the Southern Division in the NECBL with the 18-18 record. Last time out for the Westerners, they took on the Sanford Mainers, defeating the Mainers by a score of 13-1. It's the Gulls and Westerners right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. The Gulls pregame show starts right now. Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show. It's time for the Broadcasters Roundtable. Stephen Huff alongside the Gulls field reporter Nick Bello and the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg. Now, Nick, I'm going to turn to you first. Obviously, a couple of big wins for the Gulls recently. The Sharks yesterday over there at the Vineyard. New Bedford this morning. A couple of big wins. They're getting a little bit closer to first place in the Southern Division.
Yeah, last night's win against the Sharks was probably I keep saying this every week, but I think that one might be the biggest win of the season. You know, it puts you one game closer to the Sharks, and they go ahead and play Mystic tonight, I believe. So, I mean, the Gulls are in there. They're in there.
Now, of course, doubleheader today. Game and a half on Monday as they make up that suspended game against the Waves. It's a hectic schedule, and they're going to have to start rotating the arms. You saw Sam Jacobsack make his first start against the Bay Sox today. How tough is it going to be rotating all those arms and making sure everyone's healthy out there?
Yeah, it's going to be very tough for the Gulls coaching staff because, you know, you got guys leaving, guys coming in, and, you know, it's late in the season, as you mentioned. So it's going to be very tough for them.
Now, Jacob, I'm going to turn this one over to you. Westerners, 18-18, just on the outside looking in, but a chance to make it into the playoffs. You just came off a big win over the Mainers, 13-1.
Yeah, as Nick said, you guys had perhaps your biggest win of the year. That was a massive win for the Westerners over the Mainers. More than just a win, they really creamed the Mainers. 13-1, 7 long balls. And although it was Rogers Park, they weren't Rogers Park home runs. They were some moonshots. Sonny Uliana creamed one out to left. Masterman hit 2. Bello hit 2. It was a barrage.
Well, of course, it's always about the hitting when it comes with Danbury. You mentioned some long home runs for you guys there. Who should we look out for in the lineup tonight?
1 through 5 in this order has been fantastic the entire year. 4 of those guys being all-stars. You've got Alex Barada hitting over 300. Nick LaRusso at 345 home runs in 3 straight. Same with Sonny Uliana, home runs in 3 straight. Caleb Upshaw, he's hit a bit of a slump still, hitting over 300. Dickerson over 300. And you've got Bello with his glove at shortstop as well. This offense is on a tear. A 300 average as a team leads the NECBL right now.
Well, it should be a good one. Gulls and Westerners tonight. Stay tuned as the Gulls pregame show continues next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Nick Bell here with Justin Henry Molloy. Now, Justin, you're just named an All-Star. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. You know, I feel like it just, you know, means a lot being able to represent, you know, the name on the front in Newport and being able to go there and do my best and, you know, seeing the guys that have come through here and, you know, being able to represent a big program. And I think this is a great opportunity. I'm happy about it.
And so you're named to the Home Run Derby as well. Are you excited for that?
Super excited about the Home Run Derby. In Vermont, I mean, you know, we just discussed it's huge. But, you know, I'm just going to try my best. And, you know, I'm excited. So another way to compete.
Do you have any strategy going into the Home Run Derby? Like, what's your strategy?
Pull side. Vermont's like I think it was like 311 in left, 307 in right. I'm not going to right field. I got to hit it out front, pull side.
And so you've been in Newport here now for a while. What has been your favorite part about being here?
Just the environment in general. It's tough to kind of, pinpoint one area that you really, like about this place. But, it's just kind of the environment that you're in, the culture, being a part of, like I said, such great people before you, great guys. And, it's a winning environment. You love playing for the fans, especially on a Friday night like tonight. And, you just get after it. It's great.
All right, Justin, good luck in the Home Run Derby. Good luck in the All-Star Game. And the pregame show continues next on NECBL Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Gulls pregame show. It's time for the manager show. Stephen Huff alongside the Gulls head coach Kevin Winterode. And coach, obviously a big win last night, another big win tonight. You guys are just closing in on the gap between the Sharks coming in on first place.
Well, most of the year, as I've told you, we're not really worried about other teams. We're worried about us, and as long as we take care of our business, all that stuff will kind of shake itself out in the end.
Now, what you guys are having to worry about, of course, with this hectic schedule coming up, 2 games today. You have a game and a half on Monday making up that suspended game against the Waves. You guys are having to start to worry about how many arms you're throwing. Obviously, Sam Jacobsack today pitching a great game against New Bedford, but it was his first start on the season. How do you think you're going to start using these guys out of the bullpen, start using them on the mound for their starts?
Well, I think we need to find our 3 best pitchers that can get us deep into games and give us a chance, because usually our offense is going to give us a chance. And so we need to make sure there's good competition there. Sam did a heck of a job and saved us arms today. Dylan Brown did an amazing job last night and saved us arms. So we need to find those kind of top 3 or 4 guys that we feel can match up to anybody in the playoffs.
Couple of good starts for you in the past couple of games. Looking for another one tonight. You got Mackenzie Stills on the mound. What do you expect from him?
Hopefully Mackenzie pounds his own. He's got some good stuff. He just sometimes pitches behind in the count a little bit, but when he's ahead and throwing his stuff, he'll give us a chance.
Well, it should be a good one. He's Kevin Winterode. I'm Stephen Huff. Danbury Westerners and Newport Gulls coming up next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Once again, here's Stephen Huff and the Newport Gulls broadcast team.
Welcome into Newport for tonight's Volunteer Appreciation Night, where the first 250 fans receive 2019 Gulls team card sets. As tonight's sponsor is the Newport Gulls. Stephen Huff alongside Jacob Kronberg, the voice of the Danbury Westerners, and Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls, as we get set for tonight's matchup between the 22-15 Newport Gulls and the 18-18 Danbury Westerners. Now, we have a packed night ahead of us. The Gulls had a game already played today against the New Bedford Bay Sox. They're playing a split doubleheader tonight. The Gulls came away with a 3-1 victory. Sam Jacobsack got his first start of the year. He pitched 6 innings in the 7-inning ball game. He gave up just 1 earned run, only 1 run on the day, had 4 strikeouts, and it was an excellent performance for him. Saved some arms because the Gulls have a busy schedule ahead of them, but more importantly, got a big win for them as they tried to notch a little bit closer towards the Sharks, who have first place in the Southern Division. But, of course, Danbury 18-18 on the season, having a big win against Sanford Mainers the other night.
Yeah, 13-1 victory at home against the Mainers. And it was the power that showed out. 7 home runs for the Westerners, 8 extra base hits of their 18 hits. And Matt Safino actually hit the first triple at Rogers Park all season a night ago. So that team's hitting really well in the Westerners, and they're hoping to carry that over today against a Gulls team that, in my eyes, may have the best pitching staff in the NECBL.
And I tell you what, I mean, that triple in Rogers Park, that is not an easy feat at all.
No, he hit one down the right field line, kind of flailing toward the foul line, kicked once in fair territory, bounced near the direction of the bullpen, the back area behind there, but it stayed in play in that far right line, and Zafino got a stand-up triple.
Well, I tell you what, folks, tonight, as we said, Volunteer Appreciation Night, it's going to be a fun night ahead. Nick Bello and I are going to have to go down to the field for some pregame ceremonies as we kick it down there later. We're going to have some games in between innings. I know Nick and I are going to participate in some. For the 7th inning stretch, we have Don, our PA announcer, longtime Goal volunteer that we will keep it in the booth for. He will be singing that. You don't want to miss that. A donut eating contest with some interns. It's going to be a treat here tonight. And, of course, more importantly, you got the Danbury Westerners and Newport Gulls. Danbury trying to get in for that third spot in the NECBL Southern Division playoff race. Newport Gulls in second right now, trying to hang on, also trying to get into first place into the Southern Division playoff spot. And it's going to be a good matchup here tonight. On the mound tonight for the Gulls, we'll get into it a little bit later, Mackenzie Stills. And on the mound tonight for Danbury, who is it?
It's going to be Ryan Brigman out of Binghamton University, a 6'6" right-hander. He's going to make his first start of the season as the Westerners, like the Gulls, in that late stretch. A lot of games and just not quite enough arms, so he's going to toe the rubber to start things off tonight.
Well, it should be a good one. We got the 18-18 Danbury Westerners and the 22-15 Newport Gulls, and I tell you what, a lot of games left to be played in just a week, and the standings could be shaken up quite a bit.
Yeah, there's 4 teams really in the heart of the race in the Southern Division. As you said, the Sharks are in first. The Gulls only 1.5 games behind them. Then you've got the Mystic Schooners, who are 2 behind the Gulls, and they lead the Westerners by 1. And Danbury has a very important doubleheader next Monday against the Schooners at Rogers Park, and that could be a true deciding factor for that final wild card spot.
Yeah, and the Gulls also have a doubleheader today, finishing off against Danbury, a game tomorrow against Sanford. Off day, of course, for the All-Star game on Sunday. Monday, then, a game and a half. They're finishing up the game against Ocean State that was suspended last Monday, and then they have a game after that they're going to be playing as well here at Cardine. So a lot left to happen, left in the season, and as I said, a lot to still possibly shake up the Southern Division standings. Newport still chasing the Martha's Vineyard Sharks. Of course, last night in the Vineyard, Newport did come away with a win. It was an 8-2 victory over the Sharks. They were 2.5 games behind the Vineyard, and they needed that victory. Now with that victory, Dylan Brown, I mean, absolute amazing performance from him. 7 innings pitched, gave up 7 hits, but only 2 runs, and had a season-high 7 strikeouts. The Cal State Fullerton right-hander. Incredible performance to get the Gulls a victory. Now they are just a game and a half back, and then the game today for the Gulls with the victory. They are a game back from the Sharks. Of course, the Sharks play the Schooners tonight, and so if the Schooners lose and the Gulls win, the Gulls would be up there tied for first place, which would help them. It bodes well for them moving forward.
That's a ball game where I guess the 2 teams playing tonight are rooting for opposite sides. The Gulls in need of a Sharks loss. I say in need, they're in the playoff picture, but hoping for that 1 seed. And the Westerners in hope of a Schooners loss.
Yeah, we have conflicting interests, but it will be interesting to see how they play out here tonight as we get set for some pregame festivities as the Volunteers get set on the field. Both teams out there along the chalk lines. And I think we are going to be sending it down to the field in just a second here. And I think we will send it down to the field just about now. So Nick and I are going to head down there, and then we will be joined back up here, joining Jacob back up here in the booth in just a minute.
Number 6, Alex Barada of Binghamton University and the city of Gladstone, New Jersey. Batting second, the third baseman, number 25, Nick LaRussa of Villanova University in the town of Monroe, Connecticut. Batting third, the catcher, number 22, Sonny Uliana of the University of Rhode Island. He resides in Hackensack, New Jersey. Batting fourth, the right fielder, number 8, Noah Dickerson of Stetson University in Windermere, Florida. Batting fifth, the left fielder, number 27, Taylor Upshaw of Eastern Kentucky University in the town of Newman, Georgia. Batting sixth, the first baseman, number 5, Cameron Masterman of the University of Louisville. He's from Prospect, Kentucky. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 2, Matt Zaffino of Hamilton College in suburban New Canaan, Connecticut. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 35, Alex Bello of the University of South Florida. He resides in the city of Miami. Batting ninth, the center fielder, number 24, Jack McCarthy of St. Mary's College in California, a resident of San Francisco, California. On the mound tonight for the Westerners, number 30, Ryan Brigman of Binghamton University and the town of Wacabuck, New York. The coaching staff, the manager is number 17, Josh Parrow. Assistant coach number 10, Ian Ratchford. Assistant coach number 12, Pat O'Neill. And assistant coach number 44, Dean White. The starting lineup for the Newport Gulls, and they will be accompanied by baseball buddies from the Excelsior Club of Portsmouth Little League Softball. Leading off, the shortstop, number 4, Scott Holzwasser of Northeastern University in Sudbury, Massachusetts.
And his softball buddy is Mary Carlin.
Batting second, the right fielder, number 26, Isaiah Thomas of Vanderbilt University in North Palm Beach, Florida.
And his softball buddy is Mary Brady.
Batting third, the first baseman, number 24, Chris Hamilton of Stony Brook University in the city of Schenectady, New York.
And his baseball buddy is Barbara Brady.
Batting fourth, the third baseman, number 25, Justin Henry Malloy of Vanderbilt University in Bergenfield, New Jersey.
And his softball buddy is Carmen Elshot.
Batting fifth, the left fielder, number 32, Brett Vosick of the University of Kansas. He's from Omaha, Nebraska.
And his softball buddy is Abby Atchison.
Batting sixth, the center fielder, number 21, Hudson Haskin, who recently was elected to the All-Stars.
And his softball buddy is Josie Rainey.
Incidentally, Hudson is from Tulane University in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 8, Colton Bender of Quinnipiac University in Lebanon, Connecticut. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, Ryan Tours from Villanova University in Florham Park, New Jersey. Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 22, Joey Bellini of the University of Cincinnati. He's from Winter Park, Florida.
And his softball buddy is Caitlin Robin.
On the mound tonight for the Gulls, number 10, Mackenzie Stills of Vanderbilt University in Fayetteville, Georgia. The coaching staff, the manager is number 33, Kevin Winterroad of Yukon, Oklahoma. Assistant coach number 5, John Perillo of Norton, Massachusetts. Pitching coach number 36, Greg Zackerson of Raynham, Massachusetts. And the hitting coach number 38, James Sorrow of Saunderstown, Rhode Island. The umpires assigned to tonight's game, calling balls and strikes, Mr. Brian Barry. On the base paths, Mr. Tim McMullen and Mr. E. Tyler Bullock.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cardines Field in our annual Volunteer Appreciation Night. Tonight symbolizes what summer baseball is all about and what our organization is all about. We're run by all volunteers. And these people have come all summer and give up their summer nights in support of our organization. We are very grateful to the volunteers who have supported us for many years and we couldn't do this without them. Many of these volunteers are interns from college, but some of these volunteers have been with us since 2001. So again, we're very grateful for the volunteers that supported this organization. And I'd also like to recognize the leader of this group, our Director of Baseball Operations, Mike Falcone, who's been with us now for 3 years. And what's great about Michael is he started out like these young volunteers. He was an intern from Salve Regina University. Now he's our full-time director, and he's done an outstanding job, and I'm going to hand it over to Mike.
Thank you, Chuck. Hey, let's give Chuck Pava, our President and General Manager, and our Vice President, Chris Paxos, a big round of applause. Without them, this would not be possible, and I would not be here, so let's give them a big applause. As Chuck said, I'd like to reiterate that we would like to sincerely thank all of our volunteers and our intern staff for dedicating countless hours of their time to ensure that our organization continues to raise the bar in summer collegiate baseball and give you, the fans, the best possible product each and every night here at Cardines Field. Let's give it up for these guys here. Developing our interns has become just as important as developing the players on our roster. The internship program as a whole has grown tremendously over the years, originally starting with students like myself from Salve Regina. Now we have college students that hail from throughout the country and go on to gain full-time employment with professional teams in all major sports. Some of our volunteers have been with us since the team's inception in 2001, while others have joined us just this summer. But regardless, we cannot thank you all enough. And although some could not be here tonight to share in this special occasion, we have here on the field all of the volunteers and interns who have made this summer such a great one. I'd like to take a moment to introduce each and every one of these special individuals. First up, Joe Mello, who is our scoreboard operator. This is his first year with the team. I'd like to announce our public address announcer and Gulls Hall of Famer, Don O'Hanley, up in the booth. His 18th year with the team. Our official scorer, it's his first year with the team, and he's a student at the Prout School here in Rhode Island, Michael Garman. His assistant official scorer, Charlie Hefferin, who's in his 9th year with the team. Thank you, Charlie. Dave Nathanson, his 4th year as a volunteer on the game day staff. Thank you, Dave. And unfortunately not here with us yet tonight, Dan Carton, who is his first year as a Newport Gulls volunteer. Before I introduce the intern staff, I'd like to give a special thanks to Donnie Savion in our concession stand for running a great show over there. Now I'd like to introduce my Assistant Director of Baseball Operations, Riley Hare. She's a student at St. Bonaventure. Our Summer Camp Coordinator and Director of Tickets and Accounting, Lucas Deslauriers, from Bentley University. A lot of responsibility, that guy. Another intern who holds 2 positions here is our Director of Community Relations and Group Volunteer Coordinator, Gianna Quillen, from the University of Florida. Somebody you all know very well, I think he needs no introduction, but our Director of Marketing and our on-field MC, Mr. John Perrick from the Portsmouth Abbey. Can you believe he's only in high school, folks? Shows me up every night. Our co-directors of game day operations, getting this whole field ready for game day every day, Josh DeMaio from Nichols College. And his partner in crime, you will see these guys lead each other's hips, Patrick Salmon from Franklin Pierce University. Somebody learning right underneath these guys, game day operations assistant, Jack Regan, who is also a high school student here at Middletown High. Thanks for helping us. Lastly, on the game day ops staff, Michael Abadi, who is an incoming freshman at Portsmouth Abbey. You heard that right, folks, just graduated middle school. He's helping us out every night. Another couple big positions here, our retail operations coordinator and sound director, keeping you guys all in tune the whole game, Ian Carmichael from Roger Williams. He's the man if you have any music requests. And retail operations coordinator, Max Howe from URI. Rounding out the intern staff here is our social media coordinator, keeping you guys all up to date throughout the games, is Jonathan Semino from the University of New Haven. Another big piece of this operation is our media relations staff. First, Director of Media Relations, Director of Broadcast Operations, and Executive Producer of the Newport Gulls Broadcast Network, Mr. Tom Lehman, his 16th season with the Newport Gulls. His Assistant Director of Broadcast Operations and Co-Executive Producer, Ms. Shannon Carlson, with 8th year with the Newport Gulls. Another member of our broadcast team and 8th season here with us, Rob Sanchez. I'd like to give a very special thanks all the way from the University of Nebraska, the voice. And he'll be joining the 7 of our players up in Montpelier, Vermont as an all-star for the Southern Division. A senior media relations assistant, Mr. Nick Bello from St. John's University, is in his 2nd year with the team here. Also in his 2nd year, Arthur Smith, who is a media relations assistant. Unfortunately, Shayna Weintraub and John McLaughlin, both in their 1st year, will not be in attendance here tonight, as well as Zach Letson, who's in his 1st year, who couldn't make it here tonight, but let's give him a round of applause. Now a group that I couldn't make this thing all possible without our grounds crew staff, led by co-grounds crew chief Russell Secor in his 8th year, and Rick Lombardi in his 15th year with the grounds crew here in the Newport Gulls. Thank you guys very much. Nick Wolf couldn't be with us here tonight, but he's in his 1st year with the grounds crew. Our mascot staff. Let's give a big shout out to Josh Patello in his 7th year with the team, and Evan Luther with his 6th year. I don't know where they are right now, but I think they do a great job. And their mascot coordinator, Derek Patsos. Thank you for keeping those guys in line, Derek. The ticket booth staff, Miss Judy Tucker, who's in there tonight, her 10th year with the Newport Gulls. Mike and Heidi Taylor, their 6th year with the Newport Gulls. And in her 1st year, Mary Navarro, her 1st year with the Newport Gulls. Here, let's give them all a big round of applause. Our team photographers, running around this place, taking pictures of everything, capturing the great moments. First, senior photographer John Dilworth in his 4th season with the Newport Gulls. Fellow senior photographer Jed Melise in his 10th year with the Newport Gulls. And unfortunately she couldn't be here, but assistant staff photographer Tess Rote in her 3rd year with the Newport Gulls. Lastly, let's give a big shout out to our medical staff here. Here with us tonight is longtime athletic trainer Emily Miller. Let's give her a big shout out. Our 2 trainers who couldn't be here tonight, who are both from Bryant University, Alexa Hambley and Chris Cody. And finally, our medical staff coordinator, Mr. Norm Provost, who's in his 16th year with the Newport Gulls. Now tonight, to throw a very special ceremonial first pitch, I'd like to welcome to the mound Commander Terry Crash Alvord. He started with the Newport Gulls in 2001 as the Director of Game Day Operations and the On-Field Entertainment. He soon was promoted up to manager and won the 2001 and 2002 back-to-back NECBL champions. Let's give him a big Cardines Field welcome. Let's see what you got here, Commander. Hey, thank you. Could not all be possible without Commander Crash Albert, Chuck Pava, Chris Patso. So let's give them a big round of applause again here and give the whole staff here a big thank you. Thank you guys very much. Now at this time, I'd ask you all to please rise and remove your caps as Gail Berberek, a longtime Newport Gulls host mom, is here to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much, Gail, and thank you again to all of our volunteers and interns. Now let's get ready to play some baseball.
Tonight's national anthem was sung by Florence Gray Center and Gail Berbiak, as we want to thank them for coming out and singing tonight's national anthem as we get set for baseball here between the Newport Gulls and Danbury Westerners. Stephen Huff joined alongside Jacob Gronberg, the voice of the Danbury Westerners, and Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls. And I'm going to send it on over to my broadcast counterpart, of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, to take us through the Danbury lineup.
It's a pretty typical Westerners lineup. Tonight you've got Alex Barada, the Binghamton Bearcat. He's leading off. Nick LaRusso at the hot corner, who's on a tear right now, bats second. Sonny Uliana behind the dish, bats third. Noah Dickerson's in the cleanup spot. Caleb Upshaw bats fifth. He's in left. Cam Masterman playing first. He's coming off a 2-home-run ball game. Matt Zafino, the designated hitter, hits seventh. Alex Bello at shortstop bats eighth. Jack McCarthy, the center fielder, rounds it all out for the Westerners.
And out on the mound today for the Gulls will be Mackenzie Stills of Kennesaw State. He has pitched in 7 games and 2 starts for the Gulls. He has a 4.64 ERA through 21 and a third innings pitched. He has given up 20 runs, only 11 of them earned off of 25 hits and 13 walks. He has 19 strikeouts in those 21 and 1/3 innings pitched. So we're taking a look at tonight's lineup for the Gulls. Leading things off for Newport is Scott Holzwasser. He will be playing shortstop tonight for Newport. Batting behind him is Isaiah Thomas, the right fielder tonight from Vanderbilt. Batting third is Chris Hamilton, the Stony Brook first baseman. Batting cleanup is Justin Henry Malloy, the Vanderbilt third baseman. Batting fifth is Brett Vosick, University of Kansas left fielder. Batting sixth is Hudson Haskin of Tulane, the center fielder, and the newest addition to the Southern Division All-Star team. Batting seventh is Colton Bender, the Quinnipiac catcher. Batting eighth is Ryan Tours, the Villanova designated hitter tonight. And rounding out the Newport order is Joey Bellini, the Cincinnati second baseman. And of course, who is going to be on the Danbury mound facing off against the Newport Gulls?
It's going to be Ryan Brigman out of Binghamton University, a 6'6", tall, lengthy, right-handed pitcher. He's got an 8 ERA on the season. That's a little skewed. He had a rough outing, gave up 2 runs, and then was removed from the ball game against the Waves a couple nights ago. He's 1-0, 9 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, and 3 walks. He was a guy who was with the Westerners the first couple of games of the season, left for about 6 weeks, has come back and looked really sharp since then. He's got a low 90s fastball and really uses his height to his advantage.
Taking a look at tonight's umpires, calling the balls and strikes will be Brian Berry behind the plate. In the field, we have Tyler Bullock and Tim McMullen. As we take a look at the weather around Newport for first pitch, it's a sunny 74 degrees. Great day for some baseball with 74% humidity and an 11-mile-per-hour wind coming out of the south. So a little bit warm. It feels a little bit, maybe a little bit muggy out, but a lot better considering what we had about a week and a half ago when it was 90% humidity, 95%. I mean, I know I talked about it last time I was here, but that North Adams game that we had on that Saturday where it was 95 degrees out with 95% humidity. I mean, this is pretty great weather for some baseball.
It's a beautiful day out in Newport. And honestly, I wouldn't mind a little bit of a sunset here, get us a little cooler. But with this temperature and the humidity, we could see some baseballs jumping against 2 powerful offenses.
As we will take a look at the Gulls defensively, how they stack up tonight against Danbury. Going from left to right in the outfield will be Brett Vosick, Hudson Haskin, and Isaiah Thomas. Left to right in the infield as well, Justin Henry, Malloy, Scott Holzwasser, Joey Bellini, and Chris Hamilton. And behind the plate is Colton Bender. Of course, this is the last regular season meeting between Danbury and Newport, and it's been quite a show between these two teams. Last time they're going to be facing off. Last time Danbury makes the trip to Cardines, but there's a chance they'll be meeting again in the playoffs.
That's the hope for Westerners Nation. Newport looks pretty solid, and if you can play 500 ball at the worst, you likely stay in. Danbury's going to need a little bit of help for that third spot in the playoff picture, and they haven't fared too well against the Gulls. They had a 1 good victory at Cardines Field, a 10-4 victory, I believe it was. But last time out at Rogers Park, Newport was all on top of the Westerners for 2 games, an 18-9 victory and a 7-1 victory in a day-night doubleheader.
Yeah, and that was some of the best baseball that Newport has ever played this whole season, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they come out firing on all cylinders because they've been really picking it up lately as well. Great pitching performances the past couple of nights for them, past couple of games. Dylan Brown last night, as I talked about at the top of the broadcast, 7 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, and then Carson Rudd came in and closed it out, pitching 2 innings for Newport. And then, of course, here today against New Bedford in the first game for the Gulls, Sam Jacobsack pitching 6 innings, longest outing of the year for him with 4 strikeouts, and Jimmy Kingsbury closing things out with 1 innings pitched. Of course, it is Stills on the mound, and he will face off against Alex Barada of Binghamton University. Righty on righty matchup. First pitch fastball going to be popped up towards the right field side and in foul territory. Hamilton giving chase, but it's going to go out of play towards the concession stands for strike number 1.
That's something Barada's done all season long, is try and jump that first pitch. He's got great awareness of the strike zone, incredible bat control, and when he sees it in the zone, he's going to take a hack at it. Only 4 walks all of the summer 2019.
Now the 0-1 offering from Stills. Another fastball going to be chopped over to the third base side and left of the bag and foul. Barada on the season, .339 average, and I was taking a peek at this Danbury lineup pregame. The first 7 batters in this lineup all hit above 300. In fact, all of them but one hit above 330. I mean, you talked about, as we were taping our pre-recording before this game as this 0-2 pitch misses up and away. This is the best average for a whole team in the NECBL, and you see it in this lineup.
As you said, 7 guys at 300 plus. Cam Masterman got to that number last night, the first time he's been there all season.
This 1-2 pitch fouled off at the plate. Barada staying alive.
And you look through those first 7, those are offensive-minded guys. Then you go to Alex Bello, who's hitting still 270s plus on the season. Gold Glove shortstop, starting shortstop for the NECBL Southern Division in the All-Star game. And then McCarthy plays a great defensive center field as well.
Yeah, as that pitch misses up 2-2. Bello is still 278, as you said. It's still a good bat in the lineup, but his defense is just incredible. There's a reason he's in the All-Star game, and it's because he's so talented defensively as this pitch is fouled back into the screen. Barada really great at bat here against Stills, but I remember that game against Danbury in one of the games in the doubleheader in Danbury, and bases loaded. He makes a great diving play, throw to the plate to cut off a run. Next ball was hit right back to him as this one's going to be chopped off at the plate once again. Next ball was hit right back to him. Another great play, and he flips 2. And so with no outs and a great opportunity with the bases loaded for the Gulls, 2 balls hit to Bello at short and turns into no runs for the Gulls, and they're out of the inning with nothing.
That was the top of the 7th in game 1 of the doubleheader right after the Gulls had tied that ball game at 6. And he was able to keep it put and eventually send it to extras.
Yeah, and so that just goes to show why he's a starter in the Southern Division lineup for the All-Star game on Sunday, as that 2-2 pitch missed outside from Stills. It's now the payoff pitch from Stills. Fastball just missing outside for ball 4, so a leadoff walk will put Barada aboard. And with no outs and a runner on first here in the top of the first, that will bring up Nick LaRusso.
Uncharacteristic of Alex Barada. When he gets on base, it's generally via the hit. That's just his 5th walk of the season.
Yeah, a guy that's hitting .339. You said that's just his 5th walk of the season. A guy that does usually get on via a hit. LaRusso at the plate now hitting .346. Tall righty in the box. Watches this first pitch miss low for ball 1.
LaRusso seeing the ball right now as well as he has the entire season. Home runs in 3 straight ball games after only having 2 on the year coming into this week.
Stills looking on the righty-righty matchup. 1-0 delivery, going to be popped out of play along the first base line.
He homered Monday in a doubleheader against the Schooners. The end of game 1, the Westerners were trailing 7-6, top of the 7th. Alex Barada reached to start the 7th, and Nick LaRusso hit a go-ahead 2-run shot. Then he hit solo home runs in the win against the Waves on Wednesday and last night's win against the Mainers.
Now this 1-1 fastball catching the outer half, 1-2. It's 5 home runs on the year as well as 5 doubles. So he can find some gaps as well as hit it past the fence, showing some great power with the bat.
He's got his college coach in attendance tonight as well, the head coach of Villanova University's baseball program in attendance for Nick LaRusso. You've got Ryan Tewers, and Jimmy Kingsbury likely won't pitch in this one as he closed out game 1 for the Gulls, but a couple Wildcats between these 2 teams.
Good game to be in attendance for him as we have a dog on the field in left field. Route towards the bullpens for both teams.
This has to be a first. I've never seen this one before.
We get some wildlife out there at Mystic, but, I mean, this technically isn't wildlife. It seems to be someone's dog, but it is an animal nonetheless. See goalie as well. I don't know if that qualifies. So now the dog's showing signs of life. A little spring in his step, and he's going to be running towards the Danbury coach, now booking it over to second. He's going to take second base safely. Now booking it towards first, running the wrong ways. Now he's on the mound, taking over Still's job.
Josh Parrow had open arms waiting for him.
He's having a good time at home plate, running down the first base line over towards the Danbury dugout. Someone clock his 60 time. Get him there for Sunday. The scouts might be interested.
Hey, he's pretty agile out there. Nobody can get their hands on him.
Saw a couple of umpires, coaches, and players. Now he's out by the tarps. He's gone from left field all the way to right field territory. The umpire went for him. That was Tim McMullen, and now he has evaded McMullen. He's booking it towards center field. Oh, my gosh, he's the fastest one out of there, going from the right field foul territory back to the bullpens in left, and he is gone. And now he's back, only at Cardines, folks.
If I didn't know better, I'd think this was staged.
It is not. Looks to be Chase. following him, and now he evades everybody. The whole groundskeeping crew here at Newport can't get him. We got goalie Junior chasing him.
We're going to have to interview him after the game. This might be our player of the game right here,
This
no
is
matter what happens.
definitely the play of the game so far.
I mean, there's no way humanly possible that one person out there is going to catch him.
We got Hudson Haskin, the new all-star player for the Gulls. Can't get him. He's going to be out in right field. No one's over there. Free real estate for the roaming pup. Out roaming the fence now at Cardines, going out towards 490 feet out there in deep center.
Now let's see if he books it to the plate. We'll clock his 40 time this way.
And this is where it's dangerous territory. He's cornered. Oh, and he finds a way out. He finds a way out, and he's gone just like that. Everyone waving him goodbye, but what a performance from tonight's so far player of the game. The random dog, we're going to name him Houdini, finding a way to get away from everyone and then make it out of center field. Now we have a bunny booking it across from center field, and the dog is back. The dog is back chasing the bunny into right field. The bunny got underneath the right field fence. And this...
I don't think the dog is slipping through the crack under the fence.
I think that's a good call. I don't think the dog can fit.
He's proved us wrong once before.
Oh, Colton Barron's giving a chase to the dog right now. I
Yeah,
think he's had
and
enough.
you don't want the Quinnipiac catcher to come after you with all that gear on. I think that's when it's game over.
They're sending everyone.
Everybody, the whole Danbury dugout is
Benches
coming
are
for it.
cleared.
You got, look at Justin Henry Malloy all the way from third. You got him on the camera now. He's coming.
Mackenzie Stills wants no part of it.
Mackenzie Still, that's a smart move from the starting pitcher. Look at this. Everybody from both teams, and the dog sees it's coming.
Oh, no, we got John Parrott coming out.
How is he going to get out of this one? John Perrick is coming for him as well. Everybody is there, and this is going to be interesting, folks. If he can get out of this one, he is tonight's player of the game, and there's his first move. Over to his left, over to his right, and he's away from the first group of people. Now he's cornered. Now he gets out of it. Now he gets out of it. Everyone's circling him. Now we got, looks to be Mike Falcone, the director of baseball operations, coming along.
Someone get it a treat. Call it over.
The grounds crew for Newport coming along. Not a lot of hustle. That's free real estate again. He's back towards center field. Everybody is still in right, and the dog, Houdini, is away, back in the shadows in deep center, out at 495.
Oh, he's looking at the gate. I'm not
He's
sure if he
looking
wants to
at
go,
the gate. He already went through that gate. He knows he can get through, and that's a smart move from the dog. He's cornered, but he knows he has a way out.
We've got Connor Crean out there for the Westerners with the Gulls interns.
He knows he can get out. They're cornering him. They're trying to shoo him through, and he's thinking about it, and he gets through. He gets through. And they might have been throwing treats, and Houdini is gone once again.
We need to close up that gate somehow.
And that right there, folks, we are in the top of the first, runner on first for Danbury, but I don't care what the score ends up. That is tonight's player and play of the game.
I think Mike Falcone is throwing a couple hot dogs over his way to keep him distracted for now.
He'll be back. He's going to eat those hot dogs immediately.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know what? That's not a great strategy because now he knows where the food's coming from. He might want some more.
Do we have anything that could barricade the door out there?
I think that's all we got.
Oh, nice throw there by
Now,
Falcone.
I will say Falcone was a pitcher in college, so we know he has the arm strength to throw it down a little bit.
Well, you know, he was a pitcher in college, but I want to...
Couple years removed.
Well, I want to add, I did hit a home run off of him today in wiffle ball.
You both were in camp today, and you launched a home run off of him.
Probably one of my proudest life moments right there.
That might be where you have peaked. I won't lie.
I mean, we all know Wednesday's intern performance was not my peak right there.
Yeah, we had the intern wiffle ball game, and your ERA ballooned after that. I won't lie on that one either.
I think I was at a 20 at one point.
That might be generous. We are set for action, maybe. They're getting the gate fence still fixed back in center field, seeing if the dog will come back. What do we think? You think he'll come back?
Third time's a charm.
I mean, should we do some odds on this?
I don't know. I mean, if you want to set him, I think he's been back twice.
Yeah, I agree with Jacob on this one. Third time's a charm.
I think there's a better chance that we see the dog again. Do we have like a wooden board you could put on the other side of the fence to stop him from?
That's a good idea.
I'm curious to how the dog got in the bullpen area, though. I thought at first it was a fan maybe had it.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I have no idea. You could see the dog from I don't know if the camera can pick it up. The dog is still on the other side of the fence.
I mean, I've been to bark at the park, never bark from center field.
Right. This is not your typical bark at the park night. It wasn't sponsored bark at the park night, but it became bark at the park night.
I mean, I think that dog's trying to take a little bit off the interns in the volunteer appreciation night and make it dog night.
So they are still waiting for this. They wanted to play on, but
they are going to play on.
They are going to play on. They're going to make sure they just okayed it, making sure that if a ball does come and play over there, that they don't interfere with the ball. And
they just stand still. It's like having your foul pole in right center field.
And so we are playing on. Runner on first with no outs. LaRusso at the plate as this one's going to be grounded over to short. Holzwasser with it. Flips to second for one. Bellini to first in time. So a 6-4-3 double play. We're back in action here at Cardines, and there's 2 away here in the top of the first.
That little incident probably threw off the rhythm of everybody.
To say the least.
It's tough to be down 0-2. You got a 5-10 minute break if you're Nick LaRusso. Then you have to come back in and face the gas that Mackenzie Stills has.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, you're absolutely right. It's easy to say it would throw the rhythm off of a pitcher, but you're right. I mean, facing Stills, who's throwing heat on the mound, it's going to throw you off maybe more as a hitter. As this first pitch to Sonny Uliana misses outside, fastball for ball one.
Uliana, the all-star catcher for the Westerners, just like LaRusso, has hit a home run in 3 straight ball games, up to double digits on the year with 10 long balls.
Is that 1-0 pitch misses outside, 2-0. And he's going to be in the home run derby, and he's one of the contestants that has to be one of the early favorites. I mean, you just look at him, and he just mashes baseballs.
I would say the only person ahead of him is probably T.T. Bowens of the Mystic Schooners, who hits light tower shots. He is a light tower.
As that 2-0 pitch misses up 3-0. Yeah, we talked about that last night on the Vineyard. We talked a little bit about the Derby, and T.T. Bowens is just a hot name out of everyone's mouth. He's just a guy that no matter what he does, he's just crushing baseballs as that 3-0 pitch is fouled out over towards the dugouts along the first base line, 3-1. It seems like every time you see him, a cover of a baseball's coming off. Even if he hits it, he just looks at it and the cover's coming off.
He's got tremendous strength. He hit 3 home runs in 4 games against Danbury. The most recent one hit Steve Barmakian's car out in center field, his third baseman. Hit his front bumper at Fitch High School. And then the very next batter, Ben Maycock, did the same thing.
Rough day for him at the park as that 3-1 pitch missed outside for ball 4. Second walk of the day for Stills on the mound, and with 2 away, that will put Uliana aboard first. So now with that 2-out walk, that will bring up Noah Dickerson. Stetson, right fielder. He's hitting .349. The Danbury lineup doesn't get any easier for Stills on the mound as that first pitch changeup catches Dickerson swinging out in front, 0-1.
He's caught fire over the last 3 or 4 games, 9 for his last 15, including a big grand slam a couple nights ago.
It's now Stills on the 0-1. That fastball missing low, 1-1. Righty on lefty matchup for Stills on the mound. One offering looked to be a slider that was in the zone. Dickerson watching the whole way, 1-2.
Stills caught a break with that slider. You saw Bender set up low and in looking for a back foot slider on Dickerson. Instead, lands in as a backdoor, and Dickerson was not looking for that pitch at all.
Now Stills on the 1-2 fastball inside. 2-2, and you saw a back foot lift, leg lift from Dickerson there. A little unorthodox.
I think he thought that baseball's a little closer to him than it actually was.
Now the 2-2 offering. Another fastball. This one's going to be cranked into center, but a little underneath it as Haskin settles underneath it for out number 3. So no runs cross for the Westerners in the first off of no hits and 2 walks, no errors as they leave one stranded. Heading into the home half of the first, it's still 0-0 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Franklin is proud.
Bottom of the first here at Cardines. Still 0-0 between the Danbury Westerners and Newport Gulls. Stephen Huff alongside Jacob Kronberg, the voice of the Danbury Westerners, and Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls. As we are looking to get set here in the home half of the first. It looks to be Ryan Brigman on the mound for the Westerners.
Yes, out of Binghamton University, one of two Bearcats in the lineup tonight for the Westerns. It's him and Alex Barada. Brigman, a guy who's been coming out of the bullpen, has seen some long relief appearances, has a 4-inning outing and a 3-inning outing to his name. He's getting his first start tonight. He was a starter in high school, and he's probably on the path to be a starter at Binghamton at some point. So he's going to come out. He's going to look to get 4 or 5 strong innings, which is what most Westerners pitchers do. They're on about an 85-pitch cap, and he's just got to throw strikes. That's the key. It's ballpark. It's going to take some mammoth home runs to let it rip, and that's what's killed the Westerners pitching staff the majority of the year playing at Rogers Park.
Well, he will face off against the leadoff man in Newport's lineup, Scott Holzwasser. First offering to Holzwasser. Fastball missing outside for ball 1. Holzwasser comes into this matchup hitting .321 on the season. This 1-0 pitch runs up and in. Holzwasser ducking out of the way, 2-0. Holzwasser will be the starting second baseman for the Southern Division in the All-Star game this Sunday in Vermont. This 2-0 pitch misses up, 3-0.
Got a lot of All-Star representatives between these two teams.
Yeah.
It's 13 total, I believe.
13 with Hudson Askin getting voted in at midnight last night. Is that 3-0 get me over fastballs in there? 3-1.
It's going to be Holzwasser and Bello up the middle.
Holzwasser and Bello up the middle. You got Malloy at the corner at third, as this one's going to be lifted foul along the third base line and into the bullpens.
Malloy's being backed up by LaRusso, and Holzwasser's being backed up by Barada.
I mean, it's Danbury, Newport crew, and then you got a lot of Mystic guys in there as well. It's this 3-2 offering. Holzwasser's going to chop this one down the third base line. Count remains. It's going to be a treat up there. I mean, a lot of good, talented players. A lot of players from this game. Holzwasser, you got Hamilton batting third for the Gulls. He's going to be in it as a reserve, as this one's fouled off once again. He'll bat this inning for Newport.
If you look through both these lineups, the top 5 guys on each side, you've got 4 All-Stars from each of them.
Yeah, and so that just goes to show how talented these two teams are and why they found so much success on the season. As that 3-2 pitch missed inside on Holzwasser, so he works leadoff walk with no outs and a runner on first. That now brings up Isaiah Thomas.
There were a few guys looking at the All-Star rosters pitchers on the Gulls that I thought, how is this guy not an All-Star? The way Garrett Schmeltz pitched last time out, and how he's been all year. Mike Townsend with that wipe-away slider. To think that guys with that much talent are not in the All-Star game just shows how strong the league has been this year.
Yeah, and you even look at Sam Jacobsak's numbers. He's had a fantastic year, as this one's going to be chopped over to short, charging is Bello. LaRusso's going to take it in front of him, throw to first just in time. Thomas is retired. Moving up to second on the play is Holzwasser. There's one away with a runner in scoring position now for the Gulls.
Good communication on the left side of the infield between Bello and LaRusso off the bat. From our vantage point, that's Bello's baseball, but on the ground, the rule is the third baseman coming across as an easier throw. They can call off the shortstop, and that's what LaRusso's did just there. We've seen Bello and LaRusso form somewhat of an Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrus relationship this year.
Yeah, and you could just see it between the two of them on the season. I don't think I've seen, watching them, this is our 6th game now together, any errors between them, as this one's going to be chopped up the middle. Bello with it, holds on to it, then throws over to first in time for out number 2. Holzwasser moving up to third on the play, but I mean, they are just so solid on the left side of the infield. Defensively, offensively, both solid players. They're just stars all around.
They really have been, and you're close. There was one error that Alex Bello made the first time the Westerners came. Remember, he made a sliding play up the middle and tried to make that acrobatic throw that went wide. But because he's so quick to the baseball, the throw off in time was ruled an error.
But even the fact that he could make a play in that situation shows how athletic and good of a shortstop he is, because a lot of guys wouldn't have been able to get to that ball, as that first pitch fastball catches the upper half of the zone to Malloy for strike 1.
He makes the difficult plays look routine, and that's what great fielders do.
This 0-1 breaking ball misses low and away, 1-1.
You've got a great hitter at the plate, though, in Malloy, hitting over 300. And the most impressive stat, though, was his on-base percentage is .500.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an on-base machine. He hits for average, hits for power, but 29 walks to 29 strikeouts. As this 1-1 breaking ball once again drops beneath the zone, 2-1.
And don't get me wrong, that's a high number in strikeouts as well. But when you can counter it with that many free passes, it kind of weighs away.
Yeah, I mean, when he works that high number of walks and still can hit for average and still hit for power, you'll take that number of strikeouts because he's doing everything else so well. So now this 2-1 pitch, fastball missing low, 3-1, and he finds himself in these counts so often because he's so patient at the plate. He's either going to work a walk in this scenario, but he has a green light in this situation where he can usually find an extra base hit. So now this 3-1 offering, big swing and a miss from Malloy, but you could just see how threatening that situation is.
The Westerners' game plan is to keep the ball low and lower against Justin Henry Malloy. They've left some pitches up in the games he's played against the Westerners, and we've seen him go yard twice. A moonshot here to that straightaway tree in center field, and then one at Rogers Park as well last time.
Now the payoff pitch from Brigman just misses outside for ball 4. Second walk of the day for Brigman. And with two away, that will put runners on the corners for the Gulls as Brett Vosick will settle in at the plate. And it's situations like that I love about Malloy. A lot of guys are going to protect in that situation, and you understand that because that is a close pitch. But Vosick has such knowledge about the zone, and he's so comfortable with his zone that he's not going to chase at that pitch.
Yeah, that's a ball that a lot of guys will offer at because it is that close to the strike zone. You need good plate awareness to lay off that pitch that's an inch or two off the plate.
Now they're going to throw over to first. Malloy back in time. So now he has more walks than strikeouts on the year, and he's still hitting .333, and he is tied for first on the season with home runs. But the guy at the plate leads the team in hits. It's Brett Vosick with 40 hits as this first pitch catching the bottom edge of the zone for strike one. He also has 17 walks on the season. He's another guy that just has a good feel for the zone at the plate. Now this 0-1 offering. Swing and a miss at a pitch that dropped beneath his bat and beneath the zone for strike 2.
That's going to be a big pitch today for Brigman, pulling the string on that changeup. He's a fastball, curveball, changeup guy, but the curve is more of a strike pitch than a put-away pitch, is what we've seen. He needs to work on getting it a little sharper and bounce it to get hitters to chase.
Now that 0-2 fastball runs a little inside and low for Vosick, 1-2. We saw a lot of that curve against Malloy, and it wasn't able to get in the zone, but it did seem like a good pitch. This pitch spiked in front of the plate. Nice dig there from Uliana. 2-2.
Uliana's really picked up his defense over the last week. The bat's been there all season long. Everyone who's seen him play knows it. Anyone who knows him knows he rakes, but the defense is what's going to take him to the next level.
Now this pitch is going to be grounded over to the second base side and past Barada at second. That will score a run for the Gulls and move Malloy over to third. So the Gulls break the ice here at Cardines. They're up 1-0 with runners on the corners.
Just a great piece of hitting. Take a 2-strike count, fastball in, and just turn on and hit a nice ground ball up the middle. And with Vosick being a left-handed hitter, you have Barada shaded toward that 3-4 hole, leaves a gap wider than usual up the middle. And we've got a score in inning number 1.
Vosick has been on a tear lately for the Gulls, hitting .455 over the Gulls' last 5 games, including yesterday against Martha's Vineyard. He was 4 for 5 with 4 singles, and he gets his first one here tonight against Danbury in his first plate appearance. Righty-on-righty matchup against Hudson Haskin. First pitch missing in for ball 1. We'd like to thank all the fans that voted for Hudson Haskin, his friends and families, and all the Newport faithful. Nearly 2,000 fans voted to get him into the All-Star game.
Very well-deserved votes, by the way. I mean, his performance Wednesday night was just unbelievable.
Yeah, and a 2 RBI double to lead things off. Later had a solo shot, and then he had the walk-off hit here on Wednesday night against the Valley Blue Sox. Leads the team in triples, tied for first in home runs, leads the team in stolen bases, and has a .310 average to his name. Now this 1-0 pitch, he's going to crank into left field. Upshaw going back, but He seems to be underneath it, and he is for out number 3. So 1 run crosses for the Gulls here in the first off of 1 hit and 2 walks and no errors as they leave 2 stranded. Heading into the second, it is 1-0, but we're going to keep it here on the NECBL Broadcast Network because it is Volunteer Appreciation Night. A lot of fun games are going to be happening with a lot of the volunteers that make nights like this possible here at Cardines. And so it's going to be a donut eating contest between Lucas and Gianna. 2 volunteers here at Newport. And Nick, I mean, these are some of our good friends. Who do you got in this one?
I got Gianna. I got my money on Gianna. You know, it's a very underrated guess, but I think she's got this one.
As Lucas looks to be jumping out in front here. Now, I will say I talked to Lucas beforehand. He was worried about getting sick, and so I thought Gianna might be a sneaky bet. But it looks like I think I would rule Lucas the winner here. I mean, it looks like he got a lot more out of this one so far.
I don't know about that, though, because I think it looks like he has a lot more because he
did split it in half.
That's a smart play, though, by him.
I thought they called it, but they're going to keep going here. I think that is an expert-level move from him. I mean, these are huge donuts. You almost have to split it in half.
Absolutely, but I think Gianna's so going, and Lucas might win this because he takes these huge bites.
You're absolutely right. Now, I will say this about Gianna. The size seems like a disadvantage, but you got to give it to her for powering through in this competition.
Absolutely, and I mean, she doesn't look too well right there, but excellent performance by both of them.
Both of them put in an effort. I would hand that one to Lucas. I think Lucas won it.
I think that's what our rules official, John Perry, gave it to.
So Lucas won the donut eating contest, taking down the underdog, Gianna, who got a lot of money pushed on her late, but Lucas, the favorite coming in, came out on top in tonight's Ma's Eating Donut Contest at the end of the first inning.
Well, you see, this is why I'm not a betting man, because obviously we've lost a lot of money right there.
That's all right. We'll have other games later on tonight that you can redeem yourself on. Here in the top of the second at Cardines Field, it's 1-0 Newport on top of Danbury. Mackenzie Stills on the mound. He'll be facing off against Caleb Upshaw. First pitch fastball on the outer half for strike 1.
These two actually childhood friends, both from the Atlanta, Georgia, or around that area. Played football and baseball together growing up, and
Stills has a fastball run in and hit his childhood friend. You saw Upshaw smiling and laughing about it after it hit him.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some friendly banter following this ball game. And I was talking to Caleb Upshaw prior to the game and on the bus, and he said he thought back in high school, Mackenzie, a fantastic pitcher, thought he was a better quarterback.
Oh, really?
He said he could sling that football with the best of them down south, and they were both two sport athletes in high school and 2 sport athletes who could have played multiple sports in college.
They find themselves on the same ball field here at Cardines. That first pitch is tipped by Masterman and into Bender's glove for strike 1. Stills looking on righty matchup. It's going to be popped foul along the first base line and out of play and into the streets of Newport, 0-2. Masterman comes into tonight hitting .300. The 6th batter in the Danbury lineup hitting .300 or above. I chuckle as I say that because it seems unimaginable as you say it.
The 6th straight to start the game.
Right. Is this 0-2 fastball misses up 1-2.
It took Masterman a while to get acquainted to the NECBL. He was playing in Omaha with the Louisville Cardinals, and he's finally got his swing under his belt. Playing every day as Vinny Bailey's gone home. He's the everyday first baseman. And now he's hitting line drives. And with those line drives, a big, strong guy, the power has started to come. A 2-home run night last night at Rogers Park, and they were no gimmies. He hit a ball, had to be close to 400 feet over the center field fence.
He does have 3 home runs now on the season to go along with that 300 average. As this pitch slider misses low and away. 2-2.
And, you know, Jacob, you just brought up a great point right there because these guys come from college, and now they're in the league where they're playing with a wood bat. It's so much more different than when you're playing with a metal bat. I mean, the ball doesn't fly the same.
And you just don't have the adjustment time when you play in such a high-level program that spends most of their June in Omaha.
It's that 2-2 pitch pop foul behind the plate once again. And you saw it with a guy like Isaiah Thomas, too. You know, it took him a couple games to get adjusted, and I think that's one of the benefits of moving the All-Star game back into late July. It allows some of those guys that are stars at huge programs, give them some time to adjust it and then make that All-Star game as that pitch misses up for
ball 3, and you're seeing a guy like Isaiah Thomas has given some time to adjust after coming from Vanderbilt after winning the national championship. Then he's had a great season here with Newport, and he finds himself into the All-Star game on Sunday. It's now the payoff pitch from Stills. Fastball going to be grounded up the middle. Holzwasser with it, flips to Bellini at second. He turns to first, but not in time. Masterman able to beat it out, and there's only one away here in the top of the second.
Almost the second time Danbury got their leadoff runner on with a free pass and then grounded into a 6-4-3. Luckily, that ball tailed enough up the middle that Holzwasser had to go back toward the grass to field it.
So with one away and a runner on first, that will bring up the 7th batter in a row with a 300 or above batting average, Matt Zaffino.
The guy who actually leads the Westerners in hitting at 352. 7 for his last 10.
Tough guy to get out at the plate as of late. There's a runner on first to hit around as that first pitch fastball misses low and away.
It was 3 for 4 with a walk, scored 3 runs in the win over the Mainers last night, as I mentioned earlier. The first Rogers Park triple of the year.
Now Stills looking on the 1-0. Swung through and missed. Changeup pulled the string on him, and Zaffino was caught out in front, 1-1. Stills has been sequencing, and we've seen a lot of his fastball slider early on. Now he's starting to work in that changeup as there is the slider, and it's going to catch Zaffino looking as it cut into the zone, 1-2.
The slider from Stills hasn't got the quantity of swings and misses we're used to, but he's still throwing it for a strike, and guys are taking it because it's such a hard pitch to pick up.
Now that 1-2, another changeup, this one dropping just beneath the zone, 2-2. And with the 2-2 count, what do you expect here? Fastball from Stills?
I think because Zaffino swung late on that first swinging strike, maybe a fastball in, but I wouldn't be surprised if he went to that wipe away slider.
It's the 2-2 pitch. It is the fastball, and it's tipped back to the screen. That's the thing about Stills. He has so many to play with now. As a hitter, it makes it tough.
And you've got guys, there's a lot of guys who have great sliders in baseball, but not all of them have the slider where the right-handed guy runs away on the right-handed hitters and a two-seam fastball that runs in.
Now this 2-2 pitch, there is the slider, and it's going to be chopped foul along the third base line. Nice battle at the plate from Zaffino.
And, you know, I talked to Stills about this, about the pitches he used to get guys out a few weeks ago, and he likes the fastball and the slider. I think he said he likes to favor the fastball, though, in strikeout situations.
He's got a little better control when it comes to the number 1.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think the slider's a tough pitch to throw to get a guy out, especially with a 2-2 count or a 3-2 count.
And I think he has a lot more command of that fastball as well, as that 2-2 slider is going to be low and away, but catching Zaffino swinging for strike 3. And there are 2 away here in the second. First strikeout of the day for Stills on the mound.
You're done with the 300 batters for 2 guys now.
Oh, what a relief. Just 2 batters, huh?
Stills has made great work of them.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, he hasn't given up a hit on the day. He has given up 2 walks, and then he did hit Upshaw, so there have been a couple of base runners. Now Alex Bello settles in. First pitch fastball, catching the top edge of the zone for strike 1. Now Bello, not a 300 hitter, but 278, and he's an all-star. So
coming off a 2-home-run game, hit a grand slam last night.
So, I mean, he's not 300, but he's not an easy out. Is that 0-1 fastball misses low and away, 1-1.
Not by any means, and that bat has come around. The first 2 times these teams met, Bello was a sub-Mendoza line hitter.
Now the 1-1 from Stills out of the stretch. Pitch is going to be check swing from Bello, and they're going to say, look to be off his hands. And they're going to check to see.
Bello showing him where it cut his knuckle.
And they're going to say, they're going to offer down to the first base umpire, Brian Berry, and Tim McMullen offering down. Now, we went over this ruling a couple nights ago, and this is an interesting one. I've learned or been told that it's off. If it's off the fingers, that is technically a part of the bat. Now, if it's off the knuckles and the rest of the hand, I'm not so clear on. But I know if it's part of the fingers, I know it's technically supposed to be a foul ball. As now they're still conferring. All 3 umpires here together as both coaches come over to talk, and they're going to send them both their own ways.
That's E. Tyler Bullock telling both coaches that they're going to have this under control.
And I think that's the right decision. You know, I mean, you don't want either coaches in on this conversation, but now you see Kevin Winterode not happy about how he was sent away. And I think that's because the Danbury coach came over first, and then Kevin Winterode seemed to be sent away a little bit more aggressively. But either way, they are both sent away. No one ejected.
Yeah, I think that's the most heat I've seen Kevin Winterode all year.
They're going to call it a foul ball.
They're going to call it a foul ball. Now, Winterode, a pretty even-keeled guy, has gotten heated at some moments, but he doesn't get too heated often. So it is 1 and 2 off of the hands of Bello. It is ruled a foul ball. And I think that's because technically the hand, they rule it a part of the bat.
Yeah, it's a part of the bat, especially if once you take that prep swing, you're in the swinging motion.
You saw him go into the swinging motion, as you said.
So if it was an Upshaw scenario, go back to that hit by pitch where you're bringing your hands in, avoiding it. If it does hit your hands there, it does not count as part of the bat because you are trying to avoid, and it still does get your body.
That's an excellent point you bring up. So the count now 1 and 2 to Bello. Stills looking on righty matchup with 2 away here in the top of the second. 1-0 your score. Newport leads as he's going to catch Bello swinging at a pitch beneath the zone. 4th strike, 3, second strikeout of the day for Stills, second in a row. And that will end things here in the top of the second. Heading into the home half of the second. Still 1-0 goals here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the second here at Cardines. Goals lead 1-0. As it will be the 7-8-9 hitters due up for Newport. Facing off against Ryan Brigman on the mound out there for his second inning of work.
Looking for a bit of a smoother inning than the first where he walked 2 guys and they gave up the single to Vosick.
Colton Bender leading things off for the Gulls. Righty on righty matchup. First pitch curveball missing low, 1-0. We've seen that curveball. It has nice action on it, but Brigman unable to find the zone with it so far. All of them just dropping beneath the zone. Now this 1-0 offering. Fastball up, and Bender swinging and fouling it into the screen. 1-1. Bender on the season hitting .318 for the Gulls. Leads the team in doubles with 10. This 1-1 pitch. Fastball popped into the screen. 1-2.
The issue with Brigman becomes when he misses, which all pitchers do, he misses up. And you're aiming low and miss up in the zone, things end up middle in. And that's where those big 2-strike hits are going to come from. If you're aiming up and you miss up, sometimes you climb the ladder and get away with it. That hasn't happened yet.
This pitch, breaking ball, misses inside on Bender. Count now even at 2.
Yeah, I mean, missing anywhere up is just going to be dangerous because you can get a home run off of that easily.
It's that breaking ball. Bender staying alive, battling at the plate and fouling it off behind the screen off the home plate umpire, Brian Barry.
That took an uncharacteristic hop.
Yeah, it
had to have hit someone's foot.
It was outside pitch that Bender bounced behind the plate and somehow went and hit off the mask of the home plate umpire and then all the way back to the screen.
Ended up caught up in the netting.
Now this 2-2 fastball going to be chopped over to the third base side. LaRusso with it over to his left. Crosses across the diamond for out number 1. So with 1 away, that will bring up number 8 hitter in the Newport lineup. Designated hitter tonight, Ryan Tours. Righty on lefty matchup for Ryan Brigman.
Tours a guy who's hit really well over his last 5 games, 7 for 19. That's a .369 average.
So he's going to ground this one over to second. Barado with it, and he tosses on over to second, or over to first for the second out here in the second.
That's a big one for Ryan Brigman, a 1-pitch out. You've gone 3-2 on numerous guys, walked 2 batters already to get a quick out, and now a chance to retire the bottom third of the order for the Gulls, 1, 2, 3.
So with 2 away, a chance to get out of this inning with the 1-2-3 inning. Joey Bellini settles in for Newport. Righty on righty matchup for Brigman. First offering fastball, catching the inside edge for strike one.
It's hard to believe. The Westerners and the Gulls, this is the 6th game they've played and only the 2nd one that Joey Bellini's appeared in.
Yeah, and he's been a guy that's gotten some hefty playing time for the Gulls as that fastball catches the outer half, 0-2.
Sometimes it just happens to be those off days. They had a similar encounter with Jerry Hunsinger of the Schooners. They only saw him catch once all season. He's played 4 games in the outfield, and 3 of them have been against the Westerners.
It's that 0-2 pitch fouled off towards the third base line. He's an all-star, too. So it's incredible that you guys haven't seen him very often. Hayden Jones is a guy since arriving. He's played a lot for the Gulls, and New Bedford saw him for the first time today as this one's chopped over to the third base side. LaRusso with it, fires across the diamond for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down for the Gulls here in the second. And we're going to keep it here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. It is 1-0. We got a wheelbarrow race. Couple of interns, looks like Gianna and Riley. So we got who we affectionately call Baby Mike and John Semino facing off.
Now, my money's on Gianna and Riley because they got some camaraderie going right there.
And you know what? I think they might have some length. I think John Semino, though, is booking it, and Baby Mike, they're out in front. I don't know who got the win there. They're going to turn it around. Gianna now out in front against John Semino on the other side. John Semino takes a tumble, and I think Gianna and Riley are going to win this one by a long shot. And you got to admit, John and Baby Mike had a good run, but on the flip, John lost some footing, and that ruined it for him.
I mean, it's a turtle in the hair almost right there.
Lost some handing on the way down.
Yeah.
They had a pretty decent lead.
They were doing well. They had the lead, like you said, but on turn, John lost it. And he's looking at his hands right now, and that's what it was. That's what it was.
Tough. You got those 2 guys. They have the length advantage, just bigger reach with the arms, getting down there. You turn around in the quick pace, but I don't want to call it stepping because it's not. Wheelbarrowing.
But I tell you what, that's a great turnaround and great comeback story for Gianna. She took the loss at the end of the first inning in the game against Lucas in the donut eating contest. Great to see her come back and get the win in the wheelbarrow contest.
And she did. And I think the reason why they won that, and I said at the beginning, is the camaraderie that they have together. They have a good relationship off the wheelbarrow plane, whatever you want to call it. So, I mean, that right there is teamwork.
And I think she might have to get tested. She might get disqualified because of the donut eating contest. She might have had too much sugar in her body. She might be disqualified. I don't know if that's fair.
Is that PED?
Sugar's the PED of wheelbarrowing?
It might be the PED of wheelbarrowing. We'll have to check on the rules in a bit. I don't know if that's completely fair. John did slip, but I think he might be the winner due to his disqualification. But top of the third here at Newport as the Gulls lead 1-0 over the Westerners. 9-1-2 hitters due up for Danbury. Stills is out there for his 3rd inning of work. Jack McCarthy at the dish for the Westerners as he pops this one up out of play behind the plate. 0-1.
I must add, guys, I am up in the bottom of the 3rd
so
for
yeah,
an ice cream eating contest.
And we will be critiquing you very harshly. So no pressure as McCarthy shows bunt, pulls it back, but it's in there for strike number 2.
McCarthy, a guy who's got great bunting form. I want to see perfect ice cream eating form from you, Nick.
Now, do you know what flavor it is?
I'm hoping it's vanilla because I can chalk down vanilla pretty quickly, in my opinion.
Now this 0-2 offering popped out behind the plate.
Is there a fear at all of brain freeze?
You know, that's something you don't really think about in the sport of ice cream eating contest.
You're just not prepared.
No.
Here's the thing with brain freeze. Don't you put your tongue at the roof of your mouth?
And I am very good with that technique. I've had to use it multiple times in my life, so.
There we are. We're setting you up for success as this one's going to be lined over to Holzwasser at short, and he's there for out number 1. Is there anything else we need to think about? Do you know who you're going up against in the bottom of the 3rd?
I'm actually going up against Baby Mike.
Baby Mike. Well, here's the thing. He might be a little bit gassed from what he just did in the wheelbarrow contest.
Could be hungrier.
He could be hungrier.
I don't think he wants as much as I do, though. I want this pretty badly.
You're right. And
are there sprinkles on the ice cream?
I think we're just going plain vanilla ice cream.
Vanilla ice cream.
Sprinkles might add a little bit of a challenge if there are any.
Sparata settles in for Danbury as the lineup flips over. It's going to be grounded right back up the middle. Stills couldn't grab it on the mound, and so it's a 1-out single for Barada.
First hit of the day for the Westerners. They had 3 runners reach prior to Barada's single, but finally one in the hit column for the Westerners, and of course it's their leadoff man, who seems to get a hit every night.
Yeah, I mean, he comes into tonight hitting .339. There's a reason he's a leadoff hitter, and he finds a hit here in the 3rd inning for the Westerners. Now a runner on first with 1 away for Nick LaRusso. Has seen a lot of action over at third base defensively as he catches this first pitch slider on the outer half for strike 1. First time up for LaRusso, grounded out into a double play.
He's trying to back up to his coach and show why he was Big East Freshman of the Year this past spring for Villanova.
Now this 0-1 fastball misses outside. The throw behind the runner at first, not in time.
He led Villanova in batting average throughout the year with .302, but also in Big East play with a .290 batting average. As a true freshman, that's the highest batting average a Villanova Wildcat has ever had as an incoming freshman in the Big East.
And now he has a huge batting average for the Westerners. This 1-1 pitch is going to be grounded over to Bellini at second. He fields it, throws to Holzwasser, who spins and throws to first, not in time. But they do retire the lead runner at second. And with 2 away and a runner on first, that will now bring up Sonny Uliana.
It's the second time in 3 innings Barada's been able to reach. And then a routine ground ball from Nick LaRusso this time. Had the wheels to beat it out. And you come to question the turn Bellini made. He turned glove side, kind of took a long time to deliver that ball to Holzwasser. Didn't give him enough time to fire a dart over.
Sonny Uliana settles in. Runner on first with 2 away here in the top of the 3rd. Uliana worked a walk his first time up. Was later stranded at first. Still's first offering, slider catching Uliana out in front as it broke low and away out of reach of Uliana's lumber.
I'd throw 2 more of that exact same pitch.
I would agree on that. You can't get more perfect than that.
You saw Uliana hunting for a fastball there.
It's what he's looking dead red in the majority of his at-bats.
As he does come back with that same pitch, and Uliana caught out in front. He does foul this one off, and it's 0-2.
It's a guy who, when he stands in the batter's box, feet are really close together on the back line of the right-handed batter's box, just hanging his bat. Looks like very casual, then the ferocity of his swing just changes your mind immediately.
Now Stills working from the first base side of the rubber. On the 0-2, fastball missing low. 1-2.
Uliana usually swings a 34-inch, 31-ounce bat, but he's been experimenting with a 35-32, which is just a log at that point. It's no longer a baseball bat. He's swinging a tree trunk.
It's an oar.
Now this 1-2 offering. There's the slider catching Uliana swinging and missing for strike 3. 3rd strikeout of the day for Stills, and that will end things here in the top of the 3rd. No runs crossed for the Westerners off of 1 hit, no errors as they leave one stranded. Heading into the home half. Still 1-0 goals here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 3rd here at Newport as the Gulls lead 1-0 here. As it will be the top of the lineup. Due up for the Gulls. Scott Holzwasser leading things off. He'll be facing off against Ryan Brigman of the Westerners. First offering to Holzwasser. Fastball missing up for ball 1. Holzwasser on the day worked the walk his first time up and came around to score. As he chops this one foul along the 3rd base line. He represents the only run of the day between the 2 teams. Now the 1-1 curveball missing inside, 2-1.
It's the best breaking ball we've seen from Brigman tonight. Just missed a hair inside, but it's got great 12-6 action, the late break. If that's in the zone, you still don't have Holzwasser swinging.
That 2-1 fastball misses up and in, 3-1. It's now Brigman, 3-1 offering, another fastball up and in. 3rd walk of the day for Brigman, 2nd against Scott Holzwasser, and that puts the leadoff man aboard for the Gulls for the 2nd time tonight.
You'd think in a ball game where we've had 4 leadoff guys to start an inning reach base, we'd have a little more offense.
Especially with a team like the Gulls who have been hitting the ball like no other lately, and for the Westerners who might be the best hitting team in the NECBL.
The hitting is the only reason they're 500. The pitching has not lived up to what Danbury had hoped. Only 2 guys with sub-5 ERAs.
This first pitch to Thomas, misses low. Nice block there from Uliana. 1-0.
Routinely go out and have ball games with 20 combined runs.
Yeah, when we talked about it, best average in the NECBL. The first 7 hitters in the Westerners lineup all hit above 300. They all hit home runs, it seems. As they throw over to first, but Holzwasser dives back in time.
8 of the 9 guys in the lineup tonight do have a home run. They actually all have multiple home runs, 8 of 9.
Now Brigman on the 1-0. Another pitch missing low. Thomas at the plate, a guy hitting above 300 for the Gulls. 307. He'll be in the All-Star game this Sunday. 6 doubles, 3 home runs. Of course, he arrived late for Newport after winning the national championship with Vanderbilt. Now this 2-0 pitch. Fastball catching the corner up and away, 2-1.
Other than a couple of guys that Danbury has added late for this last week of the season, there's only one person who's been here the majority of the season who hasn't hit a home run offensively. And that's Jack McCarthy, who's hitting 9th tonight, who's a speed guy, defensive center fielder, but he's the only one.
Now this changeup catching the edge, up and away, 2-2. And yeah, you look at McCarthy, you mentioned he's a speedster, 7 steals on the season and plays a great center field out there for the Westerners, patrolling the rest of the outfield for them. Now this 2-2 pitch is going to be chopped above Brigman on the mound and off the glove of Barada at second. The throw over to first is not in time. They're going to rule that in error. So now runners on first and second for the Gulls and nobody out.
It's a ball that Barada has been working on a lot this season, and it comes back to bite him once again. That backhand, he's never quite sure how to read that last stop. And I thought for a second when it deflected off his glove that he maybe hit it right to Alex Bello at second base. Happened a couple games ago. He missed a ground ball and going in the first base direction and ended up just kicking it to the first baseman Masterman for the out.
And I tell you what, Bello even being in the vicinity and making that play close at first base, that's an impressive play from the shortstop. Now runners on first and second for the Gulls with no outs. That brings up Chris Hamilton, the 3-hole hitter for Newport. Coming into tonight riding a 24-game on-base streak. That first pitch catches the inside edge. 0-1. Earlier today against New Bedford, Hamilton was 2 for 4 with a pair of singles. Now this breaking ball misses outside, 1-1.
You'd love to induce a ground ball to perhaps second baseman Barada here, try and trade 2 outs for the advancement of Holzwasser to third.
It's Brigman, another breaking ball, catching Hamilton swinging over the top of it, 1-2. That pitch was a little bit more inside on Hamilton. Yeah, double play would really help Danbury in this situation, as this 1-2 fastball is going to be grounded, but just foul right of the bag over the first base side. Count remains.
This is where you can fall into trouble if you're Ryan Brigman and that breaking ball's not working. When your changeups, your put-away pitch, it's really what they're looking for, because the Gulls have been on the fastball tonight. They've been able to spoil it, and if you can really bury that changeup, you're going to be in good shape. But it'd be a nice time to be able to throw that breaking ball and get a swing and a miss.
This 1-2, it is the curveball, but it just misses low. 2-2.
And I'm trying to look closely at Brigman's motion to see if there's a tell when that breaking ball is coming, because it seems that a Gull hasn't swung at the pitch all night.
Yeah, you haven't seen Newport even think about swinging at that breaking ball once. It's this 2-2 pitch, it's the fastball, and Hamilton gives this one a ride. Looking up is Dickerson, and that ball is into the houses of Newport. A 3-run blast from Hamilton extends the Gulls lead now to 4.
He knew that off the bat. You saw a little bit of a bat drop and a stare to watch that ball soar over the 28-foot fence. A no-doubter for Hamilton, who was looking dead red, got that inside fastball, just turned on.
That is Hamilton's 3rd home run of the season, his 2nd in the past 3 games now. He had a home run last night in the Vineyard out in right center, which is a deep park. and he has been on an absolute tear for Newport. That brings up Justin Henry Malloy taking a first pitch fastball at the knees for strike one. If you want to go even farther for the Gulls on Monday, for Hamilton, he had another 3-run home run as that 0-1 fastball catches the zone up for strike two. Another 3-run home run on Monday against the Waves, but of course that game's not official because it was suspended in the 5th. So Hamilton's still sitting at 3 home runs after that one instead of 4 as that pitch 0-2 chopped foul count remains. Hamilton, of course, we talked about it earlier, is going to be in the All-Star game on Sunday as a reserve first baseman for the Southern Division. This 0-2 offering, breaking ball missing low from Brickman. 1-2.
You're going to play behind a guy who hits those types of moonshots routinely. In T.T. Bowens and the Mystic Schooners, who Westerners have seen 4+ times now and just hits mammoth home runs.
Yeah, both of them are going to put on a show on Sunday, as everyone will, seemingly, as that 1-2 pitch misses low. Another breaking ball from Brigman, 2-2.
You know, speaking of putting on a show, Justin Henry Malloy, who's up at the plate right now in the home run derby.
Oof. It will be a treat to watch as he pops this one up behind the screen. Count remains. We talked about it earlier, Nick. I've talked about it, with Tim Joyce of Ocean State. I don't think I've seen you since I've seen it, but we were at Mystic, and Malloy hit the longest home run I've seen out of any Newport goal, dead center at Fitch High School, into the parking lot at Mystic. Is this another breaking ball? Misses low for ball 3. That was the longest home run I've seen over there.
I saw Bowens hit one there last time.
Of course, because if anyone would, it is
yes,
Bowens.
But that is a long way to straightaway center field, and to carry it up the hill into the parking lot as well.
I mean, that's a hike.
You think it was further? We couldn't see a land. The one he hit here against Eli Oliphant was a moonshot as well.
That 3-2 pitch catches the zone at the bottom edge and catches Malloy looking for strike 3. First strikeout of the day for Brigman, and the first out here in the bottom half of the 3rd.
That's a tough call. You'll take it if you're Ryan Brigman, and it's a close pitch. One you'd probably like to see Malloy take a hack at. But a guy who's got 30 walks on the year, you got to trust his plate knowledge that ball was likely low and outside.
That first offering, the Vosick catches the bottom edge once again, 0-1. 0-1 offering, fastball, this one missing up, 1-1.
You see things like that even at the professional level. Mike Trout, without a doubt the best player in Major League Baseball, has more strikes called balls than anybody else in the country.
That 1-1 pitch misses up and away, 2-1. Yeah, it's incredible. Mike Trout, his knowledge of the zone.
But his knowledge is so good, the umpires sometimes trust him more than they trust themselves.
It's incredible as that 2-1 pitch misses low, 3-1. That they learn he earns that respect at the plate because of how well he knows that zone. This 3-1 pitch popped foul along the third base line and out of play.
And I'm glad you look at it that way, because some people think, oh, that's why he's hitting so well, he gets all these extra calls. No, it's what came first, the chicken or the egg, essentially.
Right. This 3-2 offering, Vosick lines back into the screen. I think it's just the level of umpires recognizing this player knows the zone so much that if he thinks it's low, maybe it is low, and it's a 50-50 call, and maybe he is right in this scenario. This 3-2 pitch to Vosick. He's going to line into center. Coming on is McCarthy, but he can't get it, and so that's the second single of the day for Vosick with one away here in the 3rd. So Vosick continues his tear at the plate. Nice piece of 2-strike hitting there from him. Not trying to do too much with that pitch, just soft hit into center field.
Mentioned that's Vosick's second base knock of the day in as many at-bats. The Gulls are 8-1 on the season when he has a multi-hit effort.
That will now bring up Hudson Haskin with Vosick on first. One's going to be lined back into the screen, 0-1.
Even the foul balls have been nearly squared up against Ryan Brigman. This Gulls team is reading every pitch out of their hand, and we've seen 3 in the last 2 batters lined right back into the screen, and that's when you know guys are on top of pitches.
It's now Brigman looking on to Haskin. Nearly squared that one up. Another fastball, this one in there for strike 2 on the outer half. And this is where you want Brigman to be, working ahead in the counts. He hasn't been here often. The Gulls have battled back at times, but this is where you want him to find that put-away pitch because he has struggled with that put-away pitch.
I'd love to see him try and spike a curveball here. Trust your catcher. You've got a guy with not blazing speed on first. You get Vosick to the point where if he's on second, a base it's still not a guaranteed run. Give yourself a chance to get this big strikeout.
Comes with a fastball low. Uliana has a nice block, 1-2. Still similar situation here, 1-2. Still maybe has a pitch that he can mess around with, can come with that curveball. Hasn't gone with that changeup as of late with 2 strikes.
It's a tough pitch to throw righty on righty when it's not your best.
He comes with breaking ball, and it's going to catch Vosick in a pickle after Haskin went down on strikes. Throw down to second, back to first. Vosick in a rundown. Now they're going to drop the ball, and Vosick gets back in time. Looked to be Barada with an uncharacteristic mistake as he was transferring it from his glove to his throwing hand.
Is that an error in the rundown? Like, in my eyes, I believe that's an error on Alex Barada.
I think that is an error on Alex Barada in the rundown. I would imagine that is an error on Barada, and they are going to rule it an error on Barada. An uncharacteristic error, though.
My only question would be, can an error be ruled when no base was advanced?
That's true. That's true. As Bender swings and tips this one into the glove.
There'll be no error because if he'd gone to second base, there could be an error on Barada. But it was just like as if Sonny Leona threw it down to second thinking it was a steal, and it was not.
Yeah, that's a good catch you had. So no error is given. So Vosick still on first with 2 away as he takes off for second. Bender lofts one into center, but McCarthy is there for out number 3. But the Gulls do score 3, extending their lead to 4 after Chris Hamilton launches a 3-run home run into right field. The Gulls now lead 4-0 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network, but we are going to stick it with it here on the NECBL Broadcast Network in the third as we have this ice cream eating contest. It's Josh, Baby Mike, and Nick Bello, the field reporter for the Gulls in this ice cream eating contest.
I believe we have a 4th down there as well.
I can't tell who that is from this angle.
Do you think Nick has it?
You know what? We gave him the tactics to have it. I don't know why he couldn't get it in this scenario. We see Baby Mike struggling.
Oh, somebody already cleaned their ice cream.
Oh my. Someone cleaned it. And it's Max. Max, the 4th man to come in late. And I'll talk about an underdog story. We didn't even know that he was on the card, and he comes in and wins it.
Little preparation is now. See Nick Borks doing a dance with the Gulls mascot.
And Nick, I mean, we gave him everything he needed, and he couldn't get it done. You got to hand it to Max, who wasn't prepared for this, wasn't even on the card, and he comes away with a clean
sweep.
sweep.
He swallowed that cup of ice cream like a pill.
Right.
Just kind of one big gulp and down.
I mean, it seemed too easy for him. So Nick, our faithful field reporter, can't come away with it.
Our coaching record's down right now. We haven't picked one right up here yet.
I know, but I'll be up next inning. I'm throwing a baseball into a cardboard cutout with a hole in it, and so I hope you guys have faith in me. I will say this: I'm throwing with the suit jacket on. So
suit jacket on? We don't want to take it off? We can hold it for you up here.
They're saying I'm keeping it on.
Keeping it on. Who are you competing against?
Just me, but I'm keeping. That's why.
How many throws do you have?
I think I only get 3 throws, and they want to make it a little bit tougher, so I'm keeping the suit jacket on. That's why. So now Nick is joining us back in the booth, and we got to say, we gave you everything you needed. We gave you the tools. We prevented the brain freeze, and you still couldn't come through with the win.
Yeah, you know, it was tougher than I thought it was going to be. I was going up against 3 people who I didn't know were also in it.
Right.
But, you know, I get there, and they tell me the ice cream is melting.
So I'm going to send
that
this.
Should be easier.
Top of the 4th. I'm going to send it over to Jacob Kronberg, the voice of the Danbury Westerners.
Thank you, Steven. Noah Dickerson takes a fastball outside to start the top of the 4th. It's 4-0 Gulls on top of the Westerners. Fastball just misses inside to the Stetson Hatter. Sitting 349 on the summer. 5 home runs, 21 RBIs, which is second on the team. Stills out of the full windup. Fastball skips past everybody. Back to the wooden backboard. 3-0 on Dickerson, who leads the Westerners in walks.
Now, I will say this, Nick. I thought you were going to come away with it, but Max wasn't even on the card. Great underdog story for him. You don't seem happy.
Stills' 3-0 fastball dots the outside corner, and he's back in this at-bat, trying to climb out of the 3-0 hole.
Yeah, I also thought I had it, and then I see hands going up on the side of me. I'm like, what's going on? And then I realized that it's over.
Dickerson swings through a fastball. Count pushes full.
Yeah, so I thought I had it. I was pretty excited with myself, kind of rounding out the last few drops of ice cream, and then, turns out I lost by a landslide.
In a blink of an eye, Max had it.
The payoff pitch from Stills, swing and a miss, strike 3. Blows the number 1 past Dickerson for out number 1 in the 4th.
How about this effort from Stills? 4 strikeouts on the day, now 2 in a row for him. And it's been that fastball that he's starting to get pumped on the mound about. That's been what has been his go-to pitch all season. And once he finds it on the mound and finds the command, it's a tough pitch to hit.
And he has that fastball. The one time we saw him lack command in it was when he hit his childhood buddy Caleb Upshaw, chops one to second base. Bellini fields going back in the grass. Flips over to first for out number 2. And when you can throw it in the low to mid-90s like Stills can, there's really no reason why it shouldn't be your primary pitch. And he's used it to near perfection tonight.
Yeah, complementing that with the slider, when he has the command, it's incredible. And he seems to have that command tonight, just mowing through this Westerners lineup. Able to get Caleb Upshaw to ground out into a routine chopper over to second base. Has only given up 1 base hit through 3 2/3.
Cam Masterman steps in, takes a fastball on the outer part of the plate. Masterman hit a similar ground ball to Bellini his first time up, resulted in a fielder's choice, where Upshaw was thrown out at second. Fastball misses in. Evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Masterman taps his charcoal-colored bat twice across home plate, now set. Stills out of the modified windup. Fastball skips back to the wooden boards.
That was one of the first fastballs that has gone away from Stills and Bender behind the plate. It's happened twice, maybe 3 times now from Stills, but other than that, he's had control of it.
Guy who's normally a reliever, so when you're in inning number 4, sometimes guys can get tired and start to overthrow like that fastball there. Start to overcompensate for that ball you spiked in the dirt. And that's where things can get dangerous. You can leave the ball up. Luckily, you have a 4-0 lead in this situation.
Yeah, it's nice to have that little bit of a longer leash out there on the mound.
3-1 to Masterman. Fastball up and in. Cam's aboard with a 2-out walk.
But they think Stills, with those pitches, his ceiling is a starter. And so that's why they want to give him reps as a starter out there. He certainly has the stuff for it. It's just a matter of second, third time through the lineup and working later in games. So this is an excellent opportunity, especially with the lead and the bats firing on all cylinders, to get those reps out there on the mound and work later in the games.
And he'll have a better chance to become a starter moving to Kennesaw State from Vanderbilt, a school where you're usually recruited, and if you're recruited as a reliever, you're going to be a reliever.
Yeah, and Kennesaw State a little bit closer to home. That's where he's from, and so just an excellent opportunity for him to be closer to home, a little bit more comfortable, but also, just to get those starting pitching reps.
Matt Safino skies one high into left field. Brett Vosick going back toward the foul line under it. Makes the catch to retire the side. That ball at some late carry off the bat of Matt Safino. 1 runner left on in the 4th for the Westerners. 4-0. Gulls on top. Home half of the inning coming up after this. Bottom of the 4th, about to get underway from Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island. Alongside the voice of the Gulls, Stephen Huff, I'm Jacob Kronberg. 8-9-1 for Newport, who leads 4-0 over the Danbury Westerners. It's Ryan Tours, the Villanova Wildcat, to lead things off. A big, strong left-handed bat. 0 for 1 on the evening. Hit a soft ground out to Alex Barada at second base in inning number 2. Slightly open stance. First pitch fastball from Brigman. Hits the outside corner. He jumps ahead 0-1. Tours back in 2018 was first team All Big East from Villanova. As he checks swings at a fastball, offers behind 0-2. who was projected to go first team All Big East again in 2019. Didn't have the season that he and everyone at Villanova had hoped. He got hurt midway through and only finished with a 2.03 average. That's picked up over the summer. Takes a breaking ball just low.
Yeah, but I think being in the NECBL is a great opportunity for him, and he's absolutely smashed it out here, hitting 267 with 2 home runs, 7 doubles. You can see he has a lot of pop to his bat.
And he swings over a changeup for strike 3.
But he's been one of those guys for the Gulls throughout the summer. Just has been so consistent at the plate and just so much power that has just come through in the clutch and has helped the Gulls in when they needed him in some dire times.
I was going to say, it's one thing to hit some home runs. It's another thing to hit them in big-time situations, as Ryan Tewers has.
Yeah, you've seen it as a walk-off against Winnipesaukee. Then the next night, pinch hitting against Mystic in the top of the ninth with another home run to give them the win.
Joey Bellini skies one into shallow right field. Noah Dickerson comes in, calls off Barada to make the grab for out number 2. The bottom of the order has struggled against Ryan Brigman, but the top of the order has been fantastic, and that's where we are now with Scott Holzwasser. He's walked twice and scored in both of those appearances on the base paths. And after Holzwasser, the lineup gets no easier with guys like Thomas, Hamilton, and Malloy in the meat of the order. Brigman's first pitch fastball sails up at the letters.
Yeah, it's definitely get tougher for Bergman here if he keeps, if he walks Holzwasser again and gets to Thomas and Hamilton and Malloy. I mean,
back-to-back fastballs miss up.
I mean, that's just dangerous right there.
Bergman out of the full windup has his sign. The 2-0 offering. Fastball hits the outside corner.
And, a very underrated thing that goes kind of underlooked about Scott Holzwasser is his ability to work a walk.
As he's way early on a fastball and laces it out of play and makes its way onto the streets in downtown Newport.
Hopefully that didn't hit a car.
Wouldn't be surprised. Now an even count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brigman's fastball scorched into right field. Noah Dickerson back. He's going to play it up against the wall. He's going to throw it into second base, a one-hopper. The tag from Bello in time. Noah Dickerson, a big-time outfield assist. Gets Scott Holzwasser, who pieced that baseball off the billboards in right. So your unconventional 1-2-3 inning with a hit in between. A single thrown out, trying to stretch it into a double is Scott Holzwasser. Top of the 5th coming up after this on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Well, we're going to keep it here as Stephen Huff, our broadcaster, is participating in a little on-field competition. He has 3 tries to throw a ball into a small hole. We'll see if our guy Steven can do it here. How many pitches do you think it's going to take for him to throw in there, Jacob?
Well, he's only got 3 tries. I think he does it based on that one, not at all.
Oh,
I'm hoping he's got this one.
Oh. Maybe this would be center.
Come on, center it out, Steven. Come on. Just short.
Wow.
Oh, they're giving him another one. Oh, he's got the accuracy now, and we need the strength, Steven.
Oh, man, he's so close, though.
Come on, you live in Omaha. You've seen a lot of great pitchers. He's hitting the board. He's giving the board a beating right now. That's
He's throwing well in the zone, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, keep it low.
Oh, he got one.
There we go, Steven.
Wow.
I think he got it in single digits.
Yeah, I think it was around 6 or 7, though. Maybe double.
It might have been 8 or 9 is where my count was. Doesn't matter how long it takes. He got the job done.
He did get the job done. We're proud of our guy, I guess. Although I think his arm's a little sore from our Wednesday little wiffle ball game. I know my arm is sore.
Was he on pitch count today? Was he eligible?
I'm not sure. Ooh, we have to check the board for that one. I don't know.
Top of the 5th, getting underway. 8-9-1 for the Westerners, just as it was for the Gulls in the bottom of the 4th. Bello, McCarthy, and Barada will face off against Mackenzie Stills, who's been stellar through 4 innings on the bump. Allowed only 1 hit. That was a single to Alex Barada. He's walked 3 and hit a batter. Alex Bello had a bit of a controversial at-bat in his first time. A check swing that he claimed hit him on the knuckles, but was called a foul ball. Stills his first pitch of the 5th. Fastball up and in. As the voice of the Gulls, Stephen Huff, is going to join us back up in the booth. And Stephen, how do you feel about your performance?
Listen, I got to apologize, all right? First off, first throw, goalie was blocking me.
Oh, here we go, the excuses.
Well, I mean, you saw it. You saw it.
I think we have to check the tape. I don't know about that one.
Goalie was blocking my eyes. Second, I mean, the rest of the way, I have the only excuse I have They made me throw with the suit jacket on, all right?
Swing and a miss for Billow. Count moves to 1-2, and I will give you some credit. Very prideful, staying over the top.
Yeah, I had to stay over the top. Throwing with the suit jacket on was a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be, I'll be honest.
The 1-2 to Bello. Fastball dots the outside corner. Strike number 3. The 5th strikeout for Mackenzie Stills this evening. First out of inning number 5.
And so because of that, you know what, I wasn't the performance I thought I was going to have out there. I'm happy I at least got it, but it was a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. I'll be honest.
Do we have an official toss total? Did they give it to you?
Oh, man. I mean, it's higher than I can count. I'll be honest.
I think we're going to give you 9. We're going to keep it
9?
We're going to keep it in single digits because it may have approached double figures.
Wow. I mean, I was thinking 7. But
I was thinking 6, but Jacob has 9, and I think that's about right.
I think that's about right because you missed the first 3 wide of the board completely.
Well,
then you hit it 3 or 4 times.
Then I realized what was happening.
McCarthy chops one to third. The charity hop for Justin Henry Malloy fires over to first for out number 2.
And I realized I had to put a little bit more heat on my throws, and I was a little bit closer after that. But I slept on the event, and I think once I started taking it a little bit more seriously, it got a little bit better from there.
Yeah, I mean, both of you guys.
Yeah,
not going to lie, I expected a little bit more. I'm happy we got to see you out there. But I think you guys took your skills for granted going in.
You know what? I completely agree. I should have had a little bit more practice going in. You know what? With the suit jacket, I should have taken that into effect, and I should have practiced with that on.
Swing and a miss on the fastball to Barada.
I mean, you could have also taken it off before you went down there.
You know
That's
what?
always the other option.
They wanted me to throw with it on. I wear the suit every day, and they thought it would be unfair and uncharacteristic of me with it off.
A 1-hopper to first base. Then Hamilton Fields takes it to the bag himself to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for Mackenzie Stills. We're halfway through the ball game. Home half of the 5th coming up after this on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 5th on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Jacob Kronberg alongside Stephen Huff, the voice of the Gulls, and Nick Billow, the Gulls field reporter. 2, 3, 4 for the Gulls. Isaiah Thomas, Chris Hamilton, and Justin Henry Malloy. As Newport leads Danbury 4-0. Ryan Brigman on the mound for his 5th inning of work. First pitch fastball laced up the middle. Past the outreach glove of Alex Barada into center field. And Thomas, his first hit of the day, his 2nd time on base.
Yeah, and that's exactly how you want to start an inning if you're the Gulls. Still a 4-0 game, so you have a cushion, but you know this Danbury lineup is so threatening at the plate. That 4-run lead could disappear with any inning that they're hitting, and so you want to get the leadoff man aboard, try to bring him around. You got the meat of the order up next, so a great start here in the 5th for the Gulls.
Thomas scored his last time on base, and that was on the big blow off the bat of Chris Hamilton. With a moonshot to right center field as he takes a fastball for a called strike. Hamilton 1 for 2 on the evening. That big 3-run homer and a ground out to shortstop. Short lead off first for Thomas, who is a threat to run. Takes an extra step and a half. Brigman peers over his shoulder. Lifts and delivers the 0-1 fastball. Lined out a play down the left field line will clear the bullpens. You got to expect with Ryan Brigman around the 70 pitch mark, this could be his last inning out there on the rubber. It's an 0-2 count on Hamilton. Brigman looks in for the sign. Checks Thomas once. Gives a second peer over the left shoulder. Slide step delivery. Change up. Chopped out a play down the right field line.
Yeah, and you got to be careful against Hamilton. He already took you deep tonight. Still an 0-2 count, so you don't have to come into the zone just yet. I think this is where you might want to see that curveball we were talking about earlier. Try to spike that or at least put it beneath the zone. Try to catch Hamilton swinging.
Try and get him maybe reaching on a changeup. That's been one of his better field pitches tonight. Throws that changeup, chop to second base. Barada to Bello for 1. The throw over to first. Not in time. A bang play at first base. And it took a second or two for Tyler Bullock to make a decision on that call. So a fielder's choice that Hamilton grounds into. Eliminates Thomas off the base paths. 1 out in the 5th.
And Hamilton just able to beat that out. You'll take that if you're the Gulls because it seemed like a possible double play there. So you keep a runner on first with 1 away. Now Justin Henry Malloy, a great hitter at the plate for you, with still a chance to move some runners along and tack on some runs.
Slide step delivery from Brigman as a fastball sails. Malloy walked in inning number 1, struck out looking in his most recent at-bat on a borderline pitch, one that he'll tell you was ball 4. But in the book, it's going to have to remain strike 3 against him. Lead off first for Hamilton. The 1-0 fastball dots the outside corner. Brigman toes back the rubber, looks in as Juliana flashes signals. 2 taps of the bat and an adjustment of his sleeve for Justin Henry Malloy. Short lead for Hamilton. Brigman checks over, lifts and delivers. A fastball stays beneath the knees.
Not a bad pitch there from Brigman. I mean, that's been a pitch that has been called a strike at times. I mean, the ump's been pretty good tonight, pretty consistent, but that pitch was a good one from Brigman. Could have gone either way, and so just keep going with what you're doing for Brigman, because when he's missing, he's been able to at least miss by just a little bit. He hasn't had terrible command as of late, been able to find a rhythm on the mound.
That's not a bad spot to miss. A really tough ball to barrel up low in it. Brigman made a soft throw over to first. Hamilton was back in. Malloy calls time. Didn't like the tempo Brigman was working at on the mound. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
And you're right with that fastball. That is a spot where if you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss, because if Malloy's going to hit, it's just going to be a grounder in the infield that could set up that double play.
The 2-1 fastball above the belt. 3-1, a great hitter's count to the dangerous Malloy, who will be very busy this Sunday, participating in the home run derby for the Gulls as the Gulls representative and the starting third baseman for the Southern Division in the All-Star game. The 3-1 from Brigman. Changeup swung over.
Yeah, great bat speed there from Malloy, but still out in front on that changeup.
The third full count Malloy's going to see tonight.
And expect Brigman still trying to pitch around him a little bit, work around the edges, because if anything is over the heart of the plate, Malloy will make you pay for it.
The payoff pitch from Brigman. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Attacks the outside corner. And had Malloy reaching. Struck out for the second time tonight as Malloy, who's now 30-plus in strikeouts and walks on the season. 2 down, 1 on in the bottom of the 5th for Brett Vosick. 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. Drove in a run in the bottom of the 1st that broke the ice in this ballgame. Brigman peers over his shoulder to Hamilton, who creeps off first. The first pitch to Vosick, a changeup. A successful pull of the string for the Binghamton right-hander.
Yeah, and that's a nasty pitch there for Brigman on the mound. I mean, caught Vosick out in front, and as he pulls the string, it just dips underneath Vosick's bat. Looking forward to the fastball here already with 2 singles.
Slide step for Brigman, and he does throw that fastball, tries to dot the outside corner, but Vosick throws the bat head at it and spoils it. 0-2 on the Kansas Jayhawk.
It's a great opportunity for Brigman. No damage done after giving up a leadoff hit in this inning. Now he's ahead in this count against Vosick, trying to retire him for the first time tonight.
A stare down of Hamilton, a slide step, the 0-2. Chop to second base, a big hop for Barada. Takes his time, flicks over to first to retire this side. We're through 5, 4-0. Gulls on top of the Westerners at Cardines Field in Newport. We'll be back with the 6th on the NECBL. Rather, we'll stay here for our next in-between innings event. Is this dressed like a Gull?
It will be a laundry race, and it'll be Pat and Jack out there. 2 interns for the Gulls.
I need the picks. Who's who, first of all?
I think we got Pat.
Pat is on the left. It's
Sean
actually
Perrick.
John Perrick filling in. As Perrick, I mean, out in front.
Yeah.
Perrick in any event is too competitive. I'm going to take Perrick, but he's slipping out
me
there.
Too.
And I think it's because of the shoes he's in might be a little bit of a disadvantage.
Oh, no.
Oh, man, he's getting burned, though.
Oh, wow, he's digging, though.
Oh, he's upset about it. He's upset about
man.
it. You can see the anguish on Perrick's face.
A great turn of the foot on that last launcher gap from Pat.
Wow.
So Pat comes away the victor, but you could see Perrick is just, he's hurting after that one.
Wow. I mean, I thought Perrick had him all the way. And Perrick's a competitive guy, too, so he's going to take this loss pretty hard.
I mean, we had our intramural wiffle ball game the other day, and Perrick was outright the most competitive between everybody. And right there, he was competitive. I thought he was going to win that one. We haven't gotten any of our picks right here tonight, guys. We got to figure something out.
Not going to lie, our media group up here is not representing well in the win column.
Yeah. I mean, I thought we would sweep the picks. Perrick was the favorite there, but it was a nice performance from Pat. And a nice comeback as well. I mean, he was losing at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of underdog picks tonight. But, I mean, if I was putting money on this tonight, I'd be broke right now.
Now, let's get a pick early for the next event. It's going to be the general manager and president of the Newport Gulls, Chuck Pava, and the director of baseball operations, Mike Falcone, as they're going to race the bases. I'm going to take Chuck in this one. I'm going to be honest.
Really?
Yes. I think Chuck has something up his sleeve.
No, I think Mike, because, I mean, we saw Mike Falcone, who we said earlier was a pitcher throwing hot dogs at the dog that got caught out in the field. And Mike was also, I mean, as I said, a pitcher in college, and he drinks like 6 cups of coffee a day, so he's like the Energizer bunny out there.
First pitch of the 6th inning, sails up high. It's Nick LaRusso. It's still Mackenzie Stills on the rubber. And I think I'll make my pick. I'm going to go with Mike's the guy who speaks before the games most of the time. I'm going Mike. As LaRusso cranks one out to right field, a slip of the foot from Thomas, able to recover and make the catch to retire LaRusso for the 3rd time tonight.
5 in a row now set down for Stills, and he's starting to settle into that rhythm. You got to think this bodes well for the Gulls. They got a hectic schedule, as we talked about. A doubleheader today. They had a game yesterday. They have a game tomorrow. They have 2 pitchers pitching on Sunday in the All-Star game. Then they have a game and a half on Monday. So they really have to manage these arms well. They want these starters to go as deep as possible in these games. Stills, if he can go 6 or 7 tonight, that's ideal.
He's through 5 1/3 of great baseball right now as that fastball misses outside to Sonny Uliana. A walk and a strikeout for the URI Ram. The 1-0 fastball picked out of the dirt by Bender, and I'm sure you'll get a chance to meet Sonny in person at the All-Star game. A very friendly guy. Wouldn't be surprised if he comes up to approach you. And
yeah, I mean, I remember we talked to him briefly between Gulls and Danbury meeting, and he was just such a nice guy.
You see he's frustrated as he took that fastball on the outer part of the plate, a pitch he'd normally like to swing the lumber at.
He's a guy that just wants to talk to everyone and get along with everybody, and then just with being with all-star festivities, it's just even more, a little bit more carefree.
Leona pops one high in the air. It'll clear in foul territory out of play onto the street.
And so it's going to be fun to talk to him and the rest of the guys up there. It's going to be a fun day all around.
The Westerners definitely sending a couple personalities in Sonny Uliana and Alex Bello. Uliana chops one foul. Ground ball to third. Malloy Fields fires back to Stills.
I mean, if you just look at
It's
Uliana,
an all-star third baseman right there.
If you just look at Uliana, he looks like the type of guy who's just, a great personality out there.
And a guy that's built for a home run derby, right?
Oh, he's a BP, as he says, he's a BP hero. He wanted this derby really bad. He didn't care as much about the actual All-Star vote in the beginning of the year. He's like, I want to do the home run derby. And then we told him where it was. He's like, all right, I'm doing it if I'm an All-Star. And I was like, Sonny, so when we weren't sure if he was going to qualify at bats-wise, we started a fan vote campaign for him. Before the fan vote came out, it was lock in Sonny Uliana to the All-Star game. He ended up making it straight up, so all our hard work just kind of went to waste on that one. As he fouls another one away, keeps the at-bat alive at 2-2.
Well, I tell you what, he's absolutely earned it, and it's going to be exciting to watch. We talked about Bowens and Malloy and Uliana. Those are some 3 outright runners, but watching him just hit BP before games, you lose a lot of baseballs with him in the box.
Oh, we lost 3 or 4 today. The 2-2 to Uliana. Flared out to right field down the line. It's going to land fair. One hop up against the warehouse. A single for Uliana, who's not gifted with the speed to take 2. On the flare out to right, but he's aboard. Just the second hit of the day for the Westerners, and it brings up Noah Dickerson.
And I think that's a smart play, not for just Uliana, but a lot of base runners not to take 2 on that play because Thomas has the best arm for the Gulls. Him and you got Scout for North Adams. Those 2 just have the 2 best arms I've seen in the NECBL. They can gun it from any corner in any field, to second base, even third base on just about any field, on no hops or maybe just 1 hop. Those guys have absolute cannons out there.
And Dickerson flares one the opposite direction. Malloy gives it a look. He'll clank in the bleachers. Do you know who's throwing to Malloy in the home run derby?
I don't know yet. Now, I've heard that a lot of the players are just going to be tossed from the Vineyard coach. That's been a lot. I mean, I know that he's going to throw a lot of BP as well to all the players. So A lot of times it's either the coaches of the team or players of the team that the player plays for.
Dickerson skies one to left, camped under it is Vosick to make the catch for out number 2. Fellow All-Star Alex Bello is going to be throwing for Sonny Uliana. That's the plan, unless he's told otherwise. He wants Bello to throw to him.
Well, then it could be, a player on the goals. You have Sansone and Rudd coming out as pitchers for Newport. Also have Holzwasser, and he's just a fun guy to be around. You could see him playing. You got the Vanderbilt player of the teammate of Malloy, Isaiah Thomas, out there. You could see him throwing to Malloy.
I think that would probably be my likely pick if it were to be a player. As Upshaw grounds one up the middle, a little sneak through. Uliana goes station to station into second base. Now 2 aboard for Cam Masterman. Guys who are familiar with each other in Thomas and Malloy. I don't know if Sansone or Rudd, you know them well, better than I do, obviously, want to stand out and throw BP and give up dinger after
Right.
dinger.
And they'd probably just be throwing them sliders at one point, trying not to give
Those
up
are
dinger.
guys who've given up, 4 runs combined this summer?
Right. And so, the last thing they want to be giving up is just blast after blast to Malloy. Those guys are competitors out there.
I think that's why you get a position player to do it.
And Rudd still hasn't given up an earned run on the season, and so to have him give up a home run to his teammate, I don't think he's going to love that idea.
Stills' first pitch breaking ball stays up to Masterman. That is absurd. I know it's only 10 2/3 innings for Rudd.
Yeah, but still did not give up a run.
32 outs.
Oof.
Without a run crossing the plate.
Yeah, he's a special player, isn't he?
We had the chance to see him once as Stills bends a breaking ball in on Masterman, and he's just got unbelievable stuff, the Stanford Card.
Fastball slider guy, and that fastball is just so lively coming out of that arm, and when the slider's on, it's just like Townsend and Schmeltz. Just so much bite and movement to it that it's just so hard to hit.
Stills from the belt. The 2-1 to Masterman. Laced into right field. It's going to hit and bounce one hop up against the wall. Rounding third and scoring is Uliana. Upshaw around third. And the throw into second. Cam Masterman thrown out. Talked about the Isaiah Thomas arm earlier this inning. He shows off that cannon there. We've had 2 9-6 putouts in this ball game. The Uliana run is going to count. So an RBI single for Masterman. He's thrown out, trying to stretch it into a double. We head to the bottom of the 6th after this on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
NECBL Broadcast.
Home half of the 6th on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Jacob Kronberg alongside Stephen Huff. First call to the bullpen for either side is on the Danbury side of the ball. Tanner Sinicki. Another Binghamton Bearcat following up his teammate Ryan Brigman. It's going to be Sinicki's first appearance of the summer, reported today to the Westerners. Binghamton through 8 2/3 innings in the spring, 7.27 earned run average, 0-1, and command was a problem. 7 walks, 3 strikeouts. He's not a strikeout guy, and a submarine pitcher, that he is. Not something you see all that often, a right-handed submarine guy. He's got a young guy, a rising sophomore, and a tall, lanky frame, 6'4", 170 pounds.
Yeah, and pitching as a submarine pitcher, that's a great addition to the Danbury staff because it's such an unusual arm slot that it might be a little bit tougher to pick up for the Newport side of things.
First pitch fastball misses wide from Sinicki. That to Hudson Haskin.
Talk about a story. Showing up today and already pitching in his first game.
Fastball hits the upper crust of the zone. Well, you're in the stretch. You've had so many games over these last couple days that were must-wins. You can't afford to really prepare for the next game because if you lose, it doesn't matter.
Right. You have to throw the guys that are ready.
He drops a breaking ball just below the knees. That was a pretty nice pitch.
Yeah, you could see a lot of movement on that, and there's some advantage to pitching out of the submarine slot. And a lot of times you can get a lot of spin on your breaking balls, and you see it there.
Especially following a guy who comes so directly over the top in Brigman. Another fastball in the upper part of the zone. 2-2 count on Haskin.
And you're going to see this a lot. You already see it in Hudson Haskin facing off against him. Taking a lot of pitches early on. I think you're going to see that from a lot of these Newport batters as their first time up against Sinicki.
The 2-2 breaking ball. Off the end of the bat, back to the wooden blocks.
And you saw how out in front Haskin was on that. Sinicki, not as much velocity as Brigman or a lot of the other guys in the Danbury staff. And Haskin not used to how Sinicki delivers the ball and just a whole lot of moving parts, and so we're kind of way out in front there, but just barely able to stay alive on that foul ball.
The next 2-2 offering, breaking ball popped high behind home plate. Sonny Uliana gives it a look just in front of the cage. Makes the catch for out number 1. So the breaking ball was working really well for Sinicki, a pitch you'd expect him to have being a Summering guy.
Yeah, and it's working so well right now. And the breaking ball is already a tough ball to hit. You teach guys, especially on the Newport side of things, they stay off it a lot and they wait for the fastball. And you saw it here today when Bregman wasn't able to find the zone. The Gulls just let him miss the zone. They didn't swing at it, but he's able to spin it into the zone. They're going to have to swing at it. And you saw Hudson Haskin fouling one off and then popping up behind the plate.
First pitch to Colton Bender. Breaking ball hits the inside corner. And Sinicki, you talked about being ready to pitch the first day he reports. He's a big team guy, and he was a team guy in high school in both his sports. He was a basketball player with that 6'4" frame. As the fastball misses, he went to Seton Catholic Central High School, which is up near Binghamton, New York. And he has the school record for charges drawn in basketball. Huh. That one laced into center field. Upshaw coming in makes the catch on the run to retire Bender. 37 drawn charges.
Oh, my. Shows he's a tough kid that's willing to stand in there. You love that.
He's a team guy.
That's an old school ball player right there.
You'd have to pay me to get run over by 6'5" guys 37 times.
That's got to hurt. But who keeps track of that kind of stat, especially a school record? I wonder what the school record was before that.
It's our guy over here, Michael Garman.
Yeah.
That's who's taking care of that.
I actually found it on his Binghamton University profile.
That's on his resume.
I would.
Yeah.
I hold the school record and whatever it is.
And if you take that many charges, you are going to be proud of that.
Popped high in the air by Ryan Tours, just behind home plate. Uliana can't find it, then sees it, makes the catch drifting back into fair territory to retire the side. So 2 weak pop-ups from Tanner Sinicki, and the one line drive to Upshaw in left gets us through 6 on the NECBL Broadcast Network, and we're going to stay on the air as the 7th inning is going to begin shortly for a race of the bases.
And it doesn't look like it's going to be Chuck and Mike. They bailed out, and so it's going to be goalie and goalie junior. Almost as good, and I'm going to take goalie in this one, and it looks like goalie has the early lead, guys.
Goalie just cut the corner.
Oh, and is goalie going to be disqualified? That was going to be my first win of the day. Oh, collision at second base.
Was that a charge?
That wasn't. No one went down. I don't think the feet were set. Look at goalie junior cutting the corner by a lot. Who's going to win the play at the plate? I don't know who had it, guys.
I think goalie was in there. I think goalie had it by the edge of his toe. Both disqualified, but
both disqualified. I will say this: goalie junior cheated a little bit more, and goalie got in there quicker at the plate. Do we hand it to goalie?
I think we
should. I think goalie has the win. Although, do we disqualify goalie for initiating the combat at second base?
Well, here's the thing, though. If both participants cheat, I mean, we got to decide a winner then anyway. So, I think I have goalie, but you do bring a good point about the collision.
I'll let you, Jacob, since you're with us here tonight. We obviously, we're partisan. Goalie and goalie junior are part of the Newport Gulls.
It's true.
You're part of the Danbury Westerners. We'll let you make the final decision.
I think Nick brings up a good point. If both should be disqualified, none are disqualified. I think goalie gets it because he did get his toe in there. And none of them ran the 360 feet around the bases. I think goalie got about 200 feet, but we'll give it to him.
All right, so goalie wins, and that means we got our first correct guess on the day. Goalie got it.
1 for 5? 1 for 4?
It's 1 for...
only 1 for 4?
Too few. We missed a...
Hey, for 1 for 4, we're batting 250.
All right, well, we're batting 250. You make it sound a lot better than it is.
We are baseball guys. Put it in a baseball term. Make ourselves look better. Fail 7 out of 10 times, we're in the Hall of Fame.
That's true.
How many more do we have left?
I think that might have been... We got one more, and it's Perrick versus All in a water balloon contest.
We could bat 400.
That'll
we got
be
a
easy.
chance.
We could.
That'll be easy. As we are kicking things off here in the 7th, there's a new pitcher on the mound for the Gulls. It's Jordan Marks. Through 6 appearances, he has 4 starts. He has a 4.21 ERA through 25 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 17 runs, 12 of them earned off of 33 hits and 7 walks. He has 30 strikeouts in those 25 2/3 innings pitched.
And he's going to face the lower third of the order in Matt Zaffino, Alex Bello, and Jack McCarthy. Zaffino gave a ball a ride to left in his last inning, takes a fastball low. Jordan Marks has actually made a start against the Westerners this season. Went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, and picked up a win against the Westerners. We're going to throw things back over to Steven, with it being the 7th for the play-by-play.
It is a 1-1 count now to Zaffino. Your score 4-1 here at Cardines. Righty-on-righty matchup for Marks. Marks looking on out of the windup set at the belt, and they're going to call time at the plate. Zaffino calling time. Marks on the season started out of the bullpen, then worked on some things and became a starter, but we're at the point in the year where I talked to the pitching coach for the Gulls, Greg Zackerson, is this one's going to be lofted into left field. Vosick taking a couple steps back, 3-4, and now he's there for out number 1. But Zackerson just said, I don't care about roles at this point. You just got to go out there and throw and get outs. That means guys like Marks has to come out of the bullpen even at times. You saw Dylan Brown on the season, been a pitcher that started. He's been out of the bullpen. He's going to be expected to do that. Garrett Schmeltz has been out of the bullpen starter. He's going to have to vary through some roles. Every single guy on this team will not have a role moving forward. They're just going to have to throw and get outs. This one's going to be chopped over to Hamilton at first. He picks it up and takes it himself for out number 2.
Wouldn't even get a chance. There was a pinch hitter there for the Westerners. Chase Mascolo entered the ball game for Alex Bello, a shortstop from Wake Forest University.
So Chase Mascolo came in for Alex Bello. So that will now bring up Jack McCarthy.
Mascolo now 0 for 3 in his Westerners career.
McCarthy on the day at the plate now for Danbury, 0 for 2. His first pitch misses up from Marks, 1-0.
His lower third of the order for Danbury is yet to be on base in this ball game. 0 for 8 right now with McCarthy standing it.
This 1-0 pitch misses, 2-0. Yeah, and this is where you might want some production out of them, down 4-1, be some table setters for the Danbury lineup as it flips over for some guys that have had some production. This 2-1, 2-0 pitch is going to be lined back into the screen off of Bender's glove, 2-1.
Nice hard swing from McCarthy. Just missed that baseball. See, Mark's another guy who's pumped fastballs early in his first inning of work.
Now the 2-1 offering, going to be grounded over to short. Holzwasser with it on the slow roller, throw to first in time for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down for the Westerners here in the top half of the 7th, as it is now stretch time here at Cardines as the Gulls lead 4-1, and we're going to keep it here as Don, our PA announcer here at Cardines, is going to sing the 7th inning stretch, and this one's a treat. So fans, stay tuned for this one.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and crackers. I don't care if I ever get back for a root for the gold. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. You are now officially inducted into the Cardines Field Choir.
Dan O'Hanley, everybody, Newport Gulls Hall of Famer, singing the 7th inning stretch. He does it every night here at Cardines Field, and you got a piece of the action here on Volunteers Appreciation Night as the Gulls and Danbury Westerners are facing off as it's the bottom of the 7th. 4-1 your score. Newport on top of Danbury. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls. Joey Bellini set to lead things off for Newport. He's facing off against the Submarine pitcher, Tanner Sinicki. Righty on righty matchup for Sinicki on the mound. First offering, off speed, misses in, 1-0.
Sinicki had a great inning in inning number 6. 1, 2, 3, retired the Gulls. And as we know, pitching is all about deception. And when you don't have guys whose fastball and breaking ball isn't working in a combo, pull it as from human to human in deception. A hard-throwing righty to a submarine guy.
Yeah, and it's working so far for Danbury. As that 1-0 pitch check swing from Bellini. They say he went around for strike one as this breaking ball's popped up into the infield. Bello, who is Mascolo now after the pinch hit appearance, called everybody off for out number 1. And that has just been the bread and butter for Sinicki coming into this game, working with that breaking ball, causing easy pop-ups. That's 3 now out of the 4 batters he's faced. His first pitch to Holzwasser misses up, 1-0.
It's something we've seen the Westerners do throughout the year with Emmett Sheehan on the mound, one of the hardest throwers in the league, and you follow him up with a Jason Getz who throws in the upper 70s as a lefty.
Now this 1-0 pitch drops beneath the zone, 2-0.
Usually that first inning, the reliever comes in. It's very effective. Second or third inning of work is when they can start to get in trouble as guys fall back into a rhythm.
That 2-0 fastball misses up, 3-0 now to the leadoff man for the Gulls. Sinicki working from the first base side of the rubber, righty on righty matchup. 3-0 offering, another fastball that runs inside. Ball 4, third walk of the day for Holzwasser as he reaches base for the 4th time. And with 1 away and a runner on first, that will bring up Isaiah Thomas.
That's all you can ask, buying into the role of a leadoff hitter. 1 for 1 on the day, but 3 walks. He's been on base 4 times, and 2 of those times he was on base, he scored.
Yeah, he has been that guy all year for the Gulls, not just today, too, and that's what's made him the catalyst for the Gulls' offensive success. Is this first offering to Isaiah Thomas, fastball missing outside for ball 1. Thomas on the day, 1 for 3, ground out. Reached on an error in the 3rd where he later came around to score and then singled in his last plate appearance in the 5th. This 1-0 offering. Thomas is going to fly into right. Going back is Dickerson looking up. And that one's going to be into the ivy. Holzwasser rounding second, heading for 3rd as Thomas is going to be aboard with a 1-out double.
The pure strength of Isaiah Thomas. I thought at first that ball was going to be catchable for Noah Dickerson and just kept carrying and carrying out to the ivy in right center field.
A lot of strength from him, as you said, as he put that into the ivy off the base of the wall in right field. So runners now on 2nd and 3rd for the Gulls with 1 away as they lead 4-1 here in the bottom of the 7th. That will bring up Chris Hamilton, who had that big 3-run shot in the 3rd inning. Big reason why the Gulls have this 4-1 lead. He's the difference maker right now. It's his first offering to Hamilton, catches the inside edge for strike 1.
He's got a chance to add some insurance for the Gulls here as well, and Holzwasser and Thomas, 2 guys with great speed on base as the Danbury infield's in.
This 0-1 offering, misses outside, 1-1.
I was going to say, this is the first time Sinicki's seen the top of the order and the middle of the order for the Gulls. And for a guy who induces a lot of weak contact, these are guys who don't hit many balls that aren't hard hit.
This 1-1's going to be grounded over to first base side. Masterman with it, and he steps on the bag. Now they're going to charge Holzwasser at 3rd. Everyone's going to go back as they pump fake a throw to 2nd. So there's 2 away, and the Gulls runners did get back safely as Masterman just held on to the ball. So runners on 2nd and 3rd with 2 away.
The right place at the right time. Just 1 step to the left of Cam Masterman. The ball basically took him to the bag. Then he did a good job just running at Holzwasser at 3rd. He's a guy who's made some throwing errors this year, Masterman. And you don't want to give up any more free runs. Best case scenario, you get him out. Worst case scenario, he's just back on 3rd base.
This is his first pitch breaking ball, misses outside to Malloy. 1-0. Yeah, a lot of guys might make an aggressive throw across the diamond and make an errant throw in that scenario. So a great heads-up play from Masterman just to run it into the middle of the diamond. Is that 1-0 pitch off speed in there on the inner half, 1-1. Sinicki's only given up 1 hit so far through 1 2/3. Was the double to Thomas after giving up that leadoff, or that 1-out walk to Olswasser. He's going to catch Malloy swinging through an off-speed pitch 1-2 now. Righty on righty matchup for Sinicki on the mound. This 1-2 pitch going to be low and away. Nice block there from Ulian as he slid to his right. 2-2.
I like that pitch if you're Sinicki. You're predominantly a breaking ball guy and don't have the gas to really dot a fastball even if you're pitching backwards. But now you change the eye level, force Malloy to kind of expand the zone with that pitch, and you can maybe throw that changeup that he swings over again.
Now this pitch is going to be lined into the left center gap. That's going to score 2 easily for the Gulls as Malloy is headed for second. Now he's going to be caught in between first and second. They're going to throw over to first. Chasing him down is Masterman. He fumbles the ball, flips it over to second. He's going to be safe. And so Malloy is aboard second now in scoring position as the Gulls take a 6-1 lead.
Great piece of hitting from Justin Henry Malloy. Then catches a prayer on the base pass. The second time in a rundown this evening that a Westerner has fumbled the baseball. That will go as an error against Cam Masterman.
So the Gulls catch a break. They could have been out of the inning right there as Malloy was caught in between first and second, but Masterman coughed it up. And now another runner in scoring position as the Gulls lead by 5. Brett Vosick at the plate. First pitch, he's going to ground over to the shortstop, Mascolo, who scoops it up, throws to first. It's going to get away from Masterman over into foul territory. Malloy's going to come around to score. Throw down to second is in time, and Vosick is retired. But the run will count, and the Gulls now lead 7-1, heading into the 8th here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. But as we have another event here on Volunteers Appreciation Night, and it's going to be a water balloon throwing contest. And they're going to throw it at John Perrick. I can't tell if they got him, and now everyone's coming with water balloons. And he is just getting soaked right now. And he actually bought that white shirt today. And it is just, I mean, it is drenched, folks. You see goalie getting it. All the interns coming in, and they are not cutting back. They are hitting him in. Here comes Baby Mike. He might have something in store. It's a whole bucket of water, and they missed him, actually. Got a little bit of his arm, but, I mean, you could see John Perrick right there absolutely drenched.
That's what you get for not winning the laundry contest.
You're absolutely right. If he would have won that laundry contest, that wouldn't be him out there.
The Westerners had an intern caught a bit of a water bath as well. A couple of games ago, our journalist Dan Gardello was doing a post-game interview on the field with Joe Vale and Alex Bello, and it was actually, I think it was last night, Tanner Sinicki. So now was there last night, could not play. Dumped a bucket of water on Dan Gardello during the interview. Went strictly for the interviewer.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Well, as we mentioned before, John Perrick was very competitive in that Wednesday wiffle ball matchup with the interns. And to say that he had that coming would be an understatement. I mean, he was talking a lot of trash weeks before the game started.
And I will say, I mean, there seemed to be a little bit extra gusto behind some of those water balloons coming from some of those interns' arms right there. Didn't it seem like that?
Oh, absolutely. And the 2 buckets of water, not just the 1 bucket.
Right.
Of water,
I mean, we had the first one, and then we had the one coming out from deep left field territory. It seemed like the bullpens from Baby Mike, who is on Perrick's opposing team. So Perrick is drenched. We'll see him later on the field. But top of the 8th here at Cardines. Gulls lead 7-1. As the top of the lineup is due up for Danbury. Alex Barada leading things off against Jordan Marks. This one's going to be flown into center field. Haskin over to his left, and he's there for 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 8th. So with 1 away, that will now bring up Nick LaRusso, who is 0 for 3 on the night, but did reach in his second plate appearance on a fielder's choice.
Possibly LaRusso's last chance to extend his 8-game hitting streak.
It's his first offering to LaRusso. He's going to blast into center field. Haskin going back, and it's going to be off the wall in center. LaRusso rounding first, thinking 2, sliding in, and he's in time. The tag was not applied in time, and so LaRusso does extend that hitting streak, and he's aboard second with a one-out double.
He absolutely laced that baseball.
Yeah, absolutely crushed it off the People's Credit Union sign out there in center.
It's almost like he heard you, Jacob, from all the way up
He
here.
and I have a nice connection now. A couple of his home runs, I've told him pregame that he's going to hit a home run today.
You need to start telling him that every game.
Nah, we can't get a little cocky with it.
Right.
Yeah, you definitely
Otherwise,
can't
it loses its touch.
Yeah, you can't have your luck running out.
Now a 9-game hitting streak for LaRusso, and that ball may leave the yard if he's playing at home.
I think it would, as this first pitch to Sonny Uliana going to be fouled off the end of his bat and back to the backstop, 0-1.
He's telling me his home run he hit yesterday was a mammoth shot. We were talking briefly about how big the Vermont Mountaineer Stadium is for this home run derby. This ball's probably out there in left center field. He said it was the furthest ball he's ever hit.
So one pitch is going to be laced over to Malloy at third, but he doesn't move except his glove above his head, and he's able to snag it for out number 2.
Can't do anything there if you're Uliana. Hit a ball on the screws right to his old high school rival.
Yeah, what are you going to do about that? I mean, nothing. Malloy is just in the right spot at the right time. They call it the hot corner for a reason, and he makes it look easy, able to just reach up and snag it for out number 2.
You're right, it does make it look easy. If any of us were out there, we're not reacting to that bait. I'm ducking out of the way.
I'm cowering out of the way. I might be running towards the third base coach in foul territory. As Noah Dickerson settles in. First pitch catching the corner, low and away, 0-1.
Yeah, that ball is definitely hitting me.
It's not one you want to be in the way of. Is this 0-1 pitch to Dickerson on the day 0 for 3. Marks looking on the 0-1. The offering going to be chopped right back to Marks. He catches it on the edge of his glove. He trots on over to first and flips it over there for out number 3. So no runs crossed for the Westerners in the top of the 8th off of one hit and no errors as they leave one stranded. Heading into the home half of the 8th. The Gulls are up 7-1 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. Oh, bottom of the 8th here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. 7-1 your score, and there's a new pitcher on the mound for Danbury.
Yes, Tyler Penner out of North Carolina Central University. 14 2/3 out of the pen this summer with a 7.04 earned run average. He struck out 10, and walks has been the Achilles heel. 23 walks in 14 innings pitched. Looking to just carry this over into the 9th, where the Westerners will have possibly their final chance to bat in this ball game.
First batter he will face off against is Hudson Haskin. It'll be Haskin, Bender, and Tours due up for Newport here in the bottom of the 8th. Lefty on righty matchup for Penner.
It's been like 2 separate lineups for the Gulls tonight. The one for 5 guys who are your all-stars per se. And it's not like the lower part of this order is bad. Hudson Haskin's an all-star. But the last 4 guys 0 for 12.
Yeah, they just haven't had it at the plate tonight, but it's been solid guys in the lineup that have been good for the Gulls on the season, as that first pitch from Penner catches the outer half. 0-1.
They're asking to cut the music up at Cardings Field. Hudson Haskin has already seen a pitch.
The music is still going, so they're going to wait for it to be cut off. It is now cut off. We had a new PA guy in there as Ian Carmichael, had to go get ready for the next event, as this one's going to be laced right back up the middle. Hudson Haskins aboard in the 8th with the leadoff single.
Nice piece of hitting. You get a fastball down the heart of the plate and just right back up the chute for Haskin, his first base knock of the day.
So just as LaRusso might have heard you in the top of the 8th, Haskin might have heard you talking about the 2 different lineups here in the bottom half. And he finds his first piece of hitting in the bottom of the 8th. The runner on first and no outs. That will bring up Colton Bender. Lefty on righty matchup for Penner once again. First offering. Pitch misses way up. Uliana stretching and able to glove it for ball number 1.
We've seen good hitting and timely hitting throughout the year. Talk about consistency, you've got Colton Bender. There has not been one point this season since his very first at-bat in the NECBL where he's been hitting under 300.
So now this pitch, another pitch that misses up, ball number 2. Seven to 1 your score here in the bottom of the 8th. No outs with a runner on first. 2-0 the count. It's a 2-0 offering, going to be chopped over to the third base side. LaRusso with it, throws to second for 1, throw to first in time for out number 2. A 5-4-3 double play. And there's 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th.
LaRusso's been busy at the hot corner tonight. Seen a multitude of ground balls, able to get the quick throw off to turn 2 on Colton Bender.
So with 2 away, that will now bring up Ryan Tours for the Gulls. 0 for 3 on the night, a ground out, a strikeout, and a flyout. First offering, breaking ball, drops into the zone for strike 1. Lefty on lefty matchup for Penner on the 0-1. That one's going to be check swing from Tours. They're going to say he went around. I think it was in the zone anyways, 0-2.
Good pitch attacking the outside of the zone. And we saw in the last at-bat Nick LaRusso get a chance to show off his stick, a summer stick to his head coach from Villanova. Hopefully for Tours he can do the same in this at-bat.
It's now Penner. The 0-2 offering another breaking ball, catching Tours swinging and missing for strike 3. And that will end things here in the 8th. But the Gulls do lead 7-1 here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. And it's the last contest of the night here on Volunteer Appreciation Night. And it is Chase Goalie. As you see the goalie, the mascot of the Gulls, out there in center field. And the rest of the interns lining up in foul territory along the left field line. And I'm taking Josh in this one.
Yeah, me too.
And you see him just gunning. Oh, look at that, Ian. That is my guy, though, outside of this contest.
Wow.
You see the long legs at 6'7", but Josh taking the inside corner. That is the smart move, and he has the early track on goalie. Goalie now going to his left, working along the fence line. And now everyone coming back, and Josh has the lead. Ian in second place now. You see the long legs. Ian is taxed, though, slowing down a little bit, and Josh is killing it. Ian with the catching up as Josh slows down, but Josh wins it.
It was a two-person race.
It was a two-person race. Josh wins it. Ian comes in second.
You know, I'm kind of disappointed. Riley Hare, our D1 athlete.
She's a D1 athlete, and she comes in almost last place.
Almost dead last. I think she even cut a corner, too.
Oh, my God.
Softball.
Where?
At St. Bonaventure University.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely pitiful performance from Riley. We'll have to talk about that with her in the post game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, we have to give her some slack. She is a pitcher, but she throws
athletes too.
But they are, and she throws a mean softball. By the way, I've caught for her a couple of times.
Well, and in the intern game the other day, she was booking it around the base pass. So I don't want to cut her any excuses tonight. She could have brought some more effort out there.
I agree.
Well, that will wrap up the events here tonight in between innings, as it is the top of the 9th. Gulls lead 7-1 as the Westerners are down to their final 3 out.
You hit 400. You got your last pick.
We hit 400. we got our last pick. It started rough, but
started 0 for 3.
Talk about a comeback story, guys. We talked about them all night, and we find ourselves in the middle of one here in the booth. It's his first offering from Marks. Fastball over the heart of the plate to Caleb Upshaw for strike 1. Marks looking on righty matchup out of the windup. 0-1 offering, misses low and away all the way back to the backstop. 1-1. Upshaw on the day, 1 for 2. Has reached base twice, was hit by a pitch his first time up and singled his last time up. Has a ground out in between those. This pitch fastball going to be popped back into the screen, 1-2.
Upshaw trying to get things going in that 9th for a potential Westerners comeback that we mentioned.
Now the 1-2 offering going to be lunged at and chopped down the third base line, but foul. Count remains.
Staying alive is Upshaw, and you're going to see with his 2-strike approach now, a well-known one. That extreme choke up of the bat on his 34-31 bat.
Yeah, and that is just extreme is the correct word to use there. It's not just any choke up. I mean, he is cutting off a fourth of the bat by choking up there. Now this 1-2 offering. Fastball going to be chopped over to the second base side. Bellini with it and throws to first in time for out number 1.
Upshaw made that a very close play at first base, a high chopper, and he was booking it right out of the box. That throw beat him by half a step.
Yeah, and there was a chance that Upshaw could have beaten that out. I mean, Bellini is a routine ball, but taking his time with it, as you might want to over there at second, but Upshaw got his money's worth on that play. There's one away here in the ninth. As this first offering to Masterman. He's going to ground over to Malloy at third. He picks it up and throws to first. It's going to be over to Hamilton down the line, and he couldn't tag Masterman. They're going to rule that one a throwing error from Malloy. So with the runner on first and one away, that will bring up Matt Zaffino.
Seen a throwing error on each side now. Mascolo had one after he entered the ball game. And Masterman's aboard for the third time, the third different variety of reaching base. A walk, a hit, and an error.
So with a runner on, with one away, that's going to bring up Zaffino, who swings and misses at a fastball high for strike 1. Zaffino on the day 0 for 3. Strikeout and 2 flyouts to left field. Marks looking over at first in Masterman. Now delivers an 0-1 pitch that misses low, 1-1.
Zaffino, since his strikeout, has hit a couple balls decently well out to left field. Just getting underneath the last 2 flyouts, trying to square something up here and extend the inning.
Now the 1-1 pitch, fastball at the upper half, 1-2. Now there's going to be time at the plate from Zaffino. Now everyone's set on the 1-2. Fastball blown right by Zaffino, swinging and missing for strike 3. First strikeout of the day for Marks on the mound, 6th of the day for the Newport staff. So with that strikeout, there are now 2 away here in the ninth, and the Westerners are down to their final out. First offering to Chase Mascolo's in there for strike 1.
Be a great time for Chase to have his first hit as a Westerner.
Keep the inning alive for Danbury and keep things going as they try to flip the lineup over, as this pitch is going to be popped back into the screen, 0-2.
Chase has a fantastic glove, can play third, short, and second base. Only got 10 at-bats at Wake Forest this year, was hit for a decent amount, was 3 for 10 with a home run. So your simplest version of 300 you can hit.
So runner takes off for second. Fastball misses outside for ball 1. No throw down, and so Masterman is now in scoring position for the Westerners. 1-2 count on the pitch. Popped out of play into the streets of Newport down the right field line. Count remains.
Down to your final strike of the ball game, staying alive, able to spoil that nice fastball on the outside corner. Wouldn't be surprised to see a breaking ball here, or climb the ladder like he did against Zaffino, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that from Mark. That's what I would guess is coming. So Mark's looking on the righty-righty matchup. 1-2 pitch, just missing beneath the zone. Looked to be a changeup from him, 2-2. So Mascolo staying alive at the plate. On the 2-2 fastball, check swing. They're going to say Mascolo went around for strike 3. Second strikeout of the day for Marks, and that's going to end things here at Cardines as the Gulls win their 23rd game of the season, taking down the Danbury Westerners by a score of 7-1. Don't go anywhere. Post-game show coming up next here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.
Stay tuned.
So the Gulls take down the Danbury Westerners by a score of 7-1. Newport now 23-15 on the season, as the Danbury Westerners drop a game below 500, now 18-19 on the year. Stephen Huff alongside the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg, and Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls. The Gulls got going early with a one-run lead in the first after Scott Holzwasser worked a leadoff walk and came around to score off an RBI single from Brett Vosick, continuing his hot trend at the plate as of late. He had 4 singles yesterday, had 3 singles tonight, including that RBI single in the first. The Gulls then scored 3 runs in the third off of a 3-run home run from Chris Hamilton, and they put 3 more on the board in the 7th off of 3 hits. Of course, on the Danbury side, they only were able to score 1 run as Sonny Uliana crossed the plate in the 6th. It was a great pitching performance from the Gulls when they needed it in a tough time of the season with a tough schedule as of right now and looking ahead. Mackenzie Stills of Kennesaw State pitched 6 innings, gave up just 4 hits and 1 run, walked 3 while striking out 5, and then he had a great relief outing from Jordan Marks. 3 innings pitched, didn't give up a run, gave up just 1 hit and 2 strikeouts, and that's a guy that has been a starter out of his last 4 times out for the Gulls. Came out just throwing strikes out of the pen, and that's exactly what the Gulls have wanted, just guys to, no matter the role, come out and just get outs, and Stills and Marks did that today.
That's the perfect formula to win a baseball game. When you're coming down the stretch, fighting for the number 1 seed in the Southern Division, you're playing games every night, sometimes 2 games a day. 2 pitchers, 6-3, you get a win. 2 wins on the day for the Gulls, and waiting on a final score from Martha's Vineyard and Mystic to see how the standings fare at the end of tonight.
Yeah, and we'll look at the standings in just a little bit as Nick will take over the post-game show a little bit later. If the Vineyard loses tonight, then the Gulls would be tied for first place, but this is a big game for the Gulls because with the win, they are now just that much closer to first place, at least still in contention for the first place. But it's not all bad things for Danbury. Although it's a 7-1 loss, it's a tough loss, but they're still in contention for the playoffs.
Absolutely, and depending on that Mystic Martha's Vineyard game, you're either 1 or 2 games out of that 3rd spot of the playoffs. You've still got 2 games against the Schooners, and they've had a tough time with the Gulls all year. 5-1 is the final season series. The Gulls in favor, and if I'm not mistaken, Danbury won the first outing of the year. So 5 straight for the Gulls, who have been red hot in the month of July, and you can learn from it because the game wasn't as lopsided as 7-1 sounds. It was that last hit from Malloy, a couple errors for the Westerners that really spread this game out. But I think there's things you can look at to grow.
Silver linings on both sides for both teams, but the Gulls come away with a 7-1 victory as they are now 23-15 on the season as Danbury drops to 18-19. I'm going to let Jacob Kronberg, the voice of the Danbury Westerners, off the hook, though I know you got a long bus ride back, so I'm going to let you go, but thank you for joining us here tonight. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Stephen Huff. I'm going to send it on over to Nick Bello, the field reporter of the Newport Gulls. I've got to go find the player of tonight's game, but you can look around the standings of the league and fill us in on what's happening around the night in the NECBL, fill us in on those scores, and then recap this game a little bit more. Nick, it's all yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Steven. So, as we said, the Gulls winning 7-1 tonight over Danbury. They won 3-1 this afternoon over New Bedford in New Bedford. As well as around the league, we have a 16-7 win for Vineyard over Mystic. So Vineyard will still remain in first place. And also a 7-3 Ocean State win over Winnipesaukee. Top of the 9th right now, Valley up 7-0 over Vermont. Top 9 as well. Upper Valley up 5-1 over North Adams. Bottom 8, New Bedford up 5-2 over Keene. As for the standings right now in the North Adams still leading with a 23-14 record, followed by them a half game behind is Keene Swamp Nats, 2 games behind it. First place Upper Valley Nighthawks, 2.5 games out. Vermont Mountaineers, Valley Blues Hawks behind them. Sanford Mainers 10 games out of first place. And then Winnipesaukee Muskrats 11.5 games out of first place and last place of the Northern Division. As for the Southern Division, 23-14 for the Martha's Vineyard Sharks in first place. The Newport Gulls 23-15 after tonight's win. The Mystic Schooners are 19-17, 3.5 games out of first place. Danbury Western is 4.5 games out of first place. Ocean State 17 and 20, and they're 6 games out of first place. And the New Bedford Bay Sox 12.5 games out of first place, rounding out the Southern Division. I'm joined here by my good friend and colleague, John Perrick. Now, John, I see you're a little wet. Were you disappointed by the all the interns, all the volunteers throwing water balloons at you?
Oh, no, not at all. It was actually my idea because, I ask a lot out of them throughout the whole entire season. And you know what? It's my way to almost give back. But no, it was very entertaining for the fans. And, that's my job, isn't it? I'm the master of ceremonies. I'm in charge of entertaining the fans.
Oh, John, you definitely do that on a night in, night out basis. And the Gulls have also been entertaining the fans here in Newport on a night in, night out basis these past 2 weeks. So who was your player of the game if you had to pick one tonight?
Well, tonight I would say Chris Hamilton. He got it going early with that 3-run homer because there's one thing in baseball is you can hit solo home runs and 2-run home runs, but when you get 3 runs out of one swing of the bat, it can really just change the complexity of a game. Of course, Newport, they tacked on the early run, which was humongous, but to flip the switch and go up 4-0 early, I think it really led to this victory.
And so this game, it doesn't really inch you that much closer to the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, but it does, widen your lead over the Mystic Schooners. So, do you think this lead has a lot of importance? Today's win has a lot of importance today?
No, it certainly does. Of course, Dylan Brown beginning with an excellent outing in Game 1, and Sam Jacobsack. Dylan Brown last night with an excellent outing, and Jacobsack today with an excellent outing. Both of those pitching performance, of course, that was key to Newport's success in the last, 24 hours. And now, if you think about it, yesterday when Newport was on the ferry, they had 21 wins, and right now, I believe we are at 23 or?
23. I think 23 and 50.
So they had 20 going onto the ferry yesterday over to the Vineyard. So really in the last 24 hours, Newport has really kind of hit this big spike, this exponential increase. And you hope that in the next few days, with this being the last week of the season, that can stay at a steady path. Because the Fay Vincent Cup, of course, it's right around the corner.
All right, we're going to send it down to Stephen Huff right now, who has our player of the game, Chris Hamilton. So, Stephen, take it away.
I'm with tonight's player of the game, Chris Hamilton, and of course, you had that 3-run home run earlier. You set the tone. How you feeling out there?
Feeling good. Playing good baseball right now. We're feeling good going into the Saturday up at Maine going on.
Of course, you had that home run. What were you seeing out there in that at-bat?
Just trying to get a pitch I could hit. Just trying to keep me off balance, but just got a pitch I could do damage to, and just drove some guys in, and it was good for the team.
You had the home run last night at the Vineyard, home run tonight. You just can't get out, can you?
Nah, I'm just, anything that could just keep the team rolling going into this weekend and for the final stretch here.
Of course, this weekend you will be in the All-Star game. You're on a hot streak. You feeling good going into the weekend? You excited for Sunday?
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for the All-Star game, play with a bunch of good guys around the league, and represent Newport, and I'm excited.
All right, thanks, Chris, and good luck this weekend. Chris Hamilton, everybody, tonight's player of the game. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Steven. So, John, if you had to pick a game that's coming up within the next few days, that's going to be, your key game for the end of the season, which game would it be?
Well, I really think it's going to come actually down to that last home game here in Newport. Martha's Vineyard, you're hosting them. Of course, we know Newport's had some issues going to the Vineyard. Of course, that was not the case yesterday, but that has been problematic. Last time the Vineyard was here in Cardines Field, they had a clean sweep and a day-night doubleheader, but who knows what's going to happen on that last game.
And, John, we talked about it on the broadcast a lot. Actually, we're going to send it down to Stephen Huff, who's going to wrap things up here. So, Stephen, take it away.
So Newport won tonight by a score of 7-1 over the Danbury Westerners, and will be back in action tomorrow as they take on the Sanford Mainers. For tonight, I'd like to thank our executive producer and director, Tom Lima, producer Shannon Carlson, associate producer Rob Sanchez, audio technician Arthur Smith, on-site engineer Mike Abbott, statistician Michael Garman, field reporter Nick Bello, and the voice of the Danbury Westerners, Jacob Kronberg. I'm Stephen Huff saying good night from the City by the Sea.